Brian, this is easily one of my favorite events and one of the favorite events of the racing community internationally. I get texts every year from people from all over the globe that love the Turkey Night Grand Prix. So excited to be joining you here from Ventura Raceway. You talked about it. Mostly it's going to be the USC sprint cars taking center stage tonight. Let's take a look at what that is going to look like, integrated with the Austrian Drink USAC National Midget Practice for the 84th running of the Turkey Night Grand Prix. You just mentioned engine heat and wheel pack going on the speedway right now. After that will be group qualifying for the Ultimate Sprint Car Series. They'll do that by group, kind of similar to what you'll see sometimes in wing sprint car racing. They will qualify against their group, so you only got to worry about the drivers in your heat race that will roll over into your heat race for the starting lineup later this evening. After that, it will be engine heat for the NOS Energy Drink USAC National Midget Championship and first practice. Everybody will get at least one shot to go out there in that first round of practice. After that, we'll get into our opening ceremonies. Then it will be time for sprint car heat races. 5 heat races on the evening for the Ultimate Sprint Car Series. The top 3 will advance straight into the feature event. 4th on back will go to the LCQ. But before we get to the sprint car LCQs, we'll have another round of practice for the NOS Energy Drink USAC National Midget Championship. 2 sprint car LCQs on tap. Top 4 will advance into the feature event from there to give us our 23-car starting lineup. After the LCQs, we'll have another round of midget practice. Then it is our 23-car feature event for the Ultimate Sprint Car Series to help set up night number 2 of the Turkey Night. And it's very important, that feature event. Not only does that really help you set it for Saturday, but if you're in that top 8, you can lock straight into the feature event, not have to worry about running an LCQ tomorrow. So you'll see a lot of elbows get out just trying to make it into the top 8 tonight for the USCS Sprint Cars. After that, we'll kind of play it by ear, but on the schedule, there is another practice for the NOS Energy Drink USAC National Midget Championship. Cars beginning to roll around the speedway right now. If you're not familiar with the Ultimate Sprint Car Series, great little series that's been out here in California for the last 2 years now, integrating 360s and 410s. That's right, the 360s and 410s will go up against each other, but the 410s have a restrictor on, makes it a little bit closer for those 360s to contend with the 410s. And if you look at the winners of the last few years, there's a lot of 360s that win those races. There's a lot of 410s that win those too. A lot of not only California drivers in the field tonight for the Ultimate Sprint Car Series, but a lot of drivers coming in from out of town, namely the Macedo brothers is one pair of drivers that jumps off the entry list at you. Mitchell Moles, USAC National Sprint Car star in the field, along with Jake Swanson, and so many more. Looking forward to bringing you all the coverage here that comes with night number 1 of the 84th running of the Turkey Night Grand Prix.
Thank you very much. Again, cars making their way out here for engine heat, and as soon as we get the track rolled in a little bit more, we'll start sending them back down into the pits. Again, qualifying by groups. Those groups will end up being the heat race that driver will compete in when they come out to group qualify. It will be split into A and B groups. So group number 1 will be 1A, 1B. Group number 2, 2A and 2B. And that is just to make sure we don't get too many cars on the track at one time. Live timing, lineups, results, and more throughout tonight's program can be found on the My Race Pass app. Again, My Race Pass is where you can find all the information for live timing and scoring. Again, lineups, results, as well as driver information. A reminder, if it's on MRP, it is unofficial. Looking over some of the cars that have already made their way out to the racing surface. Mitchell Moles in competition here tonight. Moles going on a little bit of a streak out here in California with the USAC CRA Series, picking up a couple of wins out at Paris here in the last month. John DeWeese has been on track. Jeff Shelton's been on track. Ryan Timmons likewise has also been out there. Dason Pursley, we saw him in a wing 360 when we were at Merced. He'll take the wings off here tonight in that CB Industries Avante Windows and Doors number 86, making his way through turns 3 and 4. A few more drivers in the lineup that will sound familiar from USAC competition. KTJ, Kevin Thomas Jr., drawing in here this evening. He's made his way out to the speedway, as Drake mentioned earlier. Carson and Cole Macedo out on the racing surface. Logan Calderwood, we've seen him several times throughout the season with the USAC Amsoil Sprint Car National Championship. He is on track along with Nate Shank. Jake Swanson. So 23 drivers have made their way out to the racetrack so far to, one, get some engine heat and help iron in this racing surface. Total of 56 drivers checking in for competition here tonight with the Ultimate Sprint Car Series. While you're making way around the grounds, make sure you swing by the USAC merchandise trailer. Very limited quantity of those Jason Left the Memorial t-shirts still available. Of course, running low on USAC merchandise apparel, so make sure and grab yours while your size, color, and design is still available. Of course, you can also shop online at usacgear.com. Black Friday sale going on right now. Make sure and swing by, because nothing says I was thinking about you at Christmas like brand new racing apparel. At least in my house. Greatest thing you could get. Of course, Turkey Night t-shirts and hooded sweatshirts available right before you come into this main entrance here between the blue and the green sections of the grandstands. They are set up right there. The event program, that is something you definitely want to add to your collection. Make sure and grab one of those while supplies last. Down to the USAC merchandise trailer, there is also the current up-to-date roster of drivers you can expect to be in action tomorrow here with the USAC NOS Energy Drink Mid-National Championship. $1 for the roster while supplies last. Couple of contingency boards up for grabs here this weekend. Double duty if you're running in both the USCS and USAC NOS Energy Drink Mid-National Championship, courtesy of Channel Island floor coverings. Highest finishing double duty driver getting $250, $150 for the second highest finishing, and third getting $100. Specialty Fasteners providing a bulk kit to the Hard Luck Award here with the USCS Series. DRC Chassis, a $100 gift certificate, also going to be up for grabs. Porta Store helping to bring tonight's racing action to you here at the Ventura Raceway with the Ultimate Sprint Car Series. Flying Walrus Enterprises, sponsor of Heat Race number 1, King Racing Products and Heat Race number 2. Rick's Gateworks, Heat Race number 3. Sexton Fire Protection, sponsor of Heat Race number 4. And Surecan Coating, sponsor in Heat Race number 5. Out of the last chance qualifiers, sponsored by P1 Race Images and the best wheelie during qualifying, Fast Motor Photography. So if you hang the Hoosiers up to the sky, you get a good reaction from the crowd. Might get a little extra bonus there from Fast Motor Photography. So cars continue to make their way out. Not only are we getting a little bit of engine heat, we're also double checking to make sure the transponder is responding on each one of the cars. A couple of drivers are already being told they need to go back and swap those out. So as we wrap up here with engine heat, we're going to step away. We'll be back here on FloRacing.
Whatever you drive, however you drive. AMSOIL specially engineers lubricants to maximize power, performance, and protection in your vehicles, so you can work hard and play hard with confidence. Order online at amsoil.com.
Are you looking for a new race car hauler, trailer, or easy-go golf cart? What about something dependable? How about buying from someone you can depend on? Contact Elliott's Custom Trailers and Carts. They're a certified Featherlight dealer with all kinds of trailers and other products to fit your needs. Located just 2 hours north of downtown Indianapolis, Elliott's Custom Trailers will deliver your trailer or cart anywhere in the United States. No matter where you're from or what you're looking for, the goal is always the same: ultimate customer satisfaction. So don't wait. Contact Elliott's today and find a trailer or golf cart that fits your needs.
Indy Metal Finishing is a family-owned and operated business with 30 years of experience in the industry. Their mission is to support their customers with an exceptional level of quality and service. Conveniently located minutes from downtown Indianapolis, Indy Metal Finishing offers Type 2 and Type 3 anodizing chemical conversions, passivation, and electroless nickel services to motorsports, medical, military, aerospace, and manufacturing industries. Indy Metal Finishing is ISO certified and holds an FFL license. If you have any questions, please call Indy Metal Finishing today at 317-858-5353. Find them online at Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Indy Metal Finishing, or visit their website at indymetalfinishing.com.
Anything you can do, I can do better.
I'm faster than you. Yeah, well, I'm gnarlier than you. I get more sideways. I'm louder. Much louder. I get wilder than you. You sure about that, bro?
Harder, slicker, cooler, tougher. Let's go.
So what you got?
Hey, are you caught in the tariff trap, rising costs, and unpredictable delays? Well, it's time to reshore, reclaim, and reinvent with Parallax Group Incorporated. With over 30 years of expertise, we deliver high-quality assembly and manufacturing solutions right here in North America. Our strategically located facility near the U.S. border ensures faster distribution and reduced logistics costs. Experience efficiency, control, and excellence in every product. Parallax Group Incorporated, quality assembly processes in North America.
Go harder, faster, stronger with Rod End Supply. Whether you are running industrial, farming equipment, or a race car, Rod End Supply has the assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products that will help you lead the field in performance. Our superior design means our rod ends last longer and perform better, giving you the edge on the track and saving you money. Contact Rod End Supply or order online today at rodendsupply.com. We don't just sell them, we race them. rodendsupply.com. Serving the racing community for over 30 years.
Power up your ride with True Brand Fuel Joules, the only time-release fuel treatment on the market. Fuel Joules cleans and lubricates while restoring power and performance, and its patented time-release formula increases fuel economy by up to 7%, saving you money at the pump, tank full after tank full. Plus, Fuel Joules races for a cause. We partner with the National Breast Cancer Foundation to fund life-saving early detection screenings for women in need. Visit TrueBrandProducts.com to get your bottle today.
Welcome back to the broadcast here on FloRacing. Night number 1 of Turkey Night. The Ultimate Sprint Car Series again in action here this evening. If you're just joining us on the FloRacing broadcast, as the USAC NOS Energy Drink Midget National Championship, they will have hot laps scattered throughout the program. Sprint cars getting close to wrapping up engine heat and wheel pack here. Once we get done with that, we'll roll into our group qualifying. Again, they will qualify by their heat race order, 2 groups at a time. So you'll have Group 1A, then Group 1B. Those 2 groups will qualify within Group number 1, then 2A and 2B, so on and so forth. Midgets will have a chance to come out to the racetrack for the first time. They will have their first dirt draft hot lap session of the evening. Then we'll roll into opening ceremonies here tonight. We'll kick things off with our first of 5 heat races for the Ultimate Sprint Car Series. We'll come back with a second round of midget practice, a pair of last chance qualifiers, midget practice, and then tonight's sprint car feature event. And we'll end out the evening with a final round of practice for the midget drivers. Of course, a field of over 50 drivers with the USAC NOS Energy Drink Midget National Championship are set to take on the 84th running of the ARP Turkey Night Grand Prix presented by West Coast Stock Car Motorsports Hall of Fame. Again, that roster is available when you go down to the USAC merchandise trailer for only $1 while supplies last. 4 champions of the event are set to be in the program tomorrow, including your defending champion, Corey Day, plus Justin Grant, Logan Seavey, and a little bit of a late entry, Kyle Larson, the 4-time champion, set to be in action here tomorrow as well. Day will attempt to become the first repeat winner of the Turkey Night since Christopher Bell in 2017 and 2018. Of course, tomorrow wraps up the season-long points championship battle for the USAC NOS Energy Drink Midget National Championship. 52 points separate at the top between Kendon McIntosh and Justin Grant. A maximum of 76 points are available throughout Saturday's event. Looking behind that, it's still a pretty close game for several drivers. Jacob Denny, Kevin Thomas Jr., all right there within striking distance of each other. Cale Drake, then back to Gavin Miller. That spread still close enough to maybe flip-flop around. Steven Snyder Jr., Logan Seavey, Drake Edwards, and Hayden Reinbold currently making the top 10 in tour standings. Of course, you can see the full rundown when you go to usacracing.com. The Grand Marshals for this year's event include Brent Kading and Gary Schroeder. They will serve as co-Grand Marshals of the 2025 running of the Turkey Night Grand Prix. Kading drove to victory in the event 40 years ago in 1985. Schroeder was a standout TQ midget racer who went on to become a prominent figure in the development of torsion bars and sway bars. Of course, when you go online to usacracing.com, you can also see the driver entry list included in the press release for this event. Nobody won more than Ron Schumann, though. 8 times. Kyle Larson at 4, Christopher Bell, and Billy Boat at 3 wins. Of course, looking through the list of winners, it is a legendary event. It's the longest running crown jewel event in midget racing. Of course, names like Bettenhausen, Clausen, Darlin, Fox, Foyt, Graham, Gurney, and more all grace the list of winners of this fantastic event. Gilmore Stadium is where it started in 1934. Moving to Gardenia Stadium in 1955 and 1960. Ascot Park and A.J. Foyt. Going to Victory Lane, backing it up in 1961. Ascot the home until 1990, when unfortunately the track went by the wayside. Saugus Speedway 1991, Bakersfield Speedway following that. Another track, unfortunately, that has gone to the pages of history. First time it was held here at Ventura, Billy Boat in Victory Lane in 1997. So the first 4 drivers set to qualify out onto the speedway here for the Ultimate Sprint Car Series. Nate Shank out of Santa Rosa, California, the Lawson Rock and Oil Hunt Magnetos. West Coast Underbridge Services, Air Technology West number 1. Driver rolling into turn number 3. It's like the 13M, McGarren Butler. Driver out of Goleta, California. The Stealth chassis with the 360 beneath the bonnet. Butler built Butler Racing. Invictus Luxury Automotive Mobile Detailing number 13 making his way through turns at 3 and 4. '72C out of Simi Valley, California. The Triple X Premier Coach 360 powered. Entry of Cody Majors. Cody Majors in the 72C. Also out on the racetrack, again, splitting these groups in half. You have Group 1A out on the speedway right now. The 21T, Cole Macedo at Lemoore, California. The Tarleton & Sons, Durst Incorporated, 360 Maxon, number 21T. Rolling down the back straightaway. Field will wind up, and we'll set them loose here in qualifying session number 1. Again, group number 1. Ooh, look out. Nate Shank all over that inside berm. Collects her up and keeps her rolling here as we continue to look down at the drivers that are on track. Caleb Montgomery, one of those drivers, out of Templeton, California. Grab the Woodland Auto Display, shopcaleb.com, MP Environmental, and then rigging number 3. Hunter Maddox, also on track, coming to us out of Bloomington, Indiana, driving the Line X. G&G NWA, Skip Tuttle owned number 87. Time starting to come in. And Nate Shank right now the quickest driver on track with a 12.498. Hunter Maddox second quick with a 12.524. McGarren Butler dropping down to fourth quick. So session 1 for Group 1. In the books, 3 laps, and Caleb Montgomery right now with the time to beat at a 12.336. Nate Shank at a 12.397. Hunter Maddox at a 12.524. McGarren Butler at a 12.555. Cole Macedo at a 12.842. And Cody Majors at a 12.933. So on to the B side of the record, we've got the 6 of Logan Calderwood pushing out to the speedway at Goodyear, Arizona, the MP Environmental. Chuck Dieswieners, Rex's Tattoo and Massage Parlor number 6. The 04, Brody Sim out of Albany, Oregon, driving the Banks Tax Services, Butler Built Seats. Rocket Engines, 04 machine, he rolls onto the back straightway. The 22S, car will start to roll here. That's Grant Sexton at Lakeside, California. The Sexton Fire Protection. East County Electric Work, Key Brothers. BR Motorsports, number 22S. The 29, Brent Yarnell out of Phoenix, Arizona. The Buzzer Pest Control, M&D Enterprises. DR Media Solutions, Ellis Race Cars, number 29. The 21. Dalen Pereira, driver to Gila, Hawaii, driving the Southwest Building Solutions. Paint by Steve, the Race Shack. Fast Track Designs, number 21P. Again, 3 laps to set their time. Drivers right now qualifying within heat race number 1. Caleb Montgomery still with a time to beat at a 12.336 right now. And Logan Calderwood going to the top of the boards here with a 12.050, third time by, the best attempt for Calderwood. Caleb Montgomery going to end up second quick. Grant Sexton, Nate Shank, and Hunter Maddox end up running at the top 5. So Calderwood at 12.050. We'll have the quick qualifying time here for the drivers in group number 1. So qualifying for group number 2, representing heat race number 2, begin to make its way out to the racing surface. Parade the cars down to the infield. We'll split them up, bring what'll be at Group 2A out to the speedway for their 3 laps. They will exit. We'll bring Group 2B out. And again, everybody in this group qualifying for their spot in heat race number 2. Four-car inversion in each one of the heat races. So putting your quick qualifying driver to the right of row number 2. Top 3 out of each one of the heat races will advance on into the feature event. Everybody else into a last chance qualifier. Looking down to the infield, Jeremy Stout. Out of Ojai, California, the 805 Leasing European Wax Center, Maxim chassis. Ojai Valley feed number 10. Crew's having to take a look at one of the cars down in the infield to make sure it is good to go before we fire here. So again, Logan Calderwood right now with the time to beat at a 12.050. Montgomery, Sexton, Shank, Maddox, Butler, Pereira, Macedo, in Drollinger, Major, Sim, and Yarnell. Swanson in the inland ring number 17 here on the front straightaway. The 10, again, Jeremy Stout making his way around here to the front side of the racetrack. 22, Brian Whitley out of Ventura, California, driving the Portastore Trent Shoring. JFN number 22, the 17R. Looks like on our intro, the 17J. Jeff Fillingame in the number 17. The Maxim 360 powered entry as we get underway here. Again, drivers on track qualifying within heat race number 2. Jeff Shelton also on track at Assembly Valley, California, driving the FK Rod Ends Miller Welders up 410 Spike Chassis. Simpson Racing, the Racer's Edge number 72. So Swanson coming around quickest so far in that Dunkel Motorsports number 17. Second time around was a 12 at 379. Whitley in the 22, currently second quick. His opening lap, his best attempt at a 12.616. Jeff Shelton coming around the 72. Third time by, his best attempt. He'll jump to third as Swanson going to hold on to the quick qualifying time thus far, 12.379. 1.2379 seconds for Swanson. Then Whitley, Shelton, Fillingame, and then Stout. Second group going to begin to fire. Leave A.J. Bender out to the speedway. In the number 21B, the driver to San Diego, California, the roll scaffolding. Key Brothers race number 21B. Making his way down the front straightaway, Ricky Lewis. And the number 41 making his way out to the racing surface. Scratch that. It is Ricky's backup car. That is Blake Hendricks out of Simi Valley, California. The McKenna Coffee Snap-on Roadrunner Hoses, number 41H. The 44, Brent Sexton out of Lakeside, California. The Sexton Fire Protection East County Electric Works, Key Brothers, number 44. Making his way down the front straightaway. Cammie Bell in the 29C. She's going to come to speed on the back straightaway. Joining the Salty's Barbecue American Fabrication. Two Girls Garage, number 21C. Wave of the green flag, and drivers qualifying in the second group of group number 2 underway. Mason Persley in the 86 going to fire off into turn number 1. The driver to Locust Grove, Oklahoma. His opening lap already the quickest one on track at 12.152, 12.152 2 seconds. For the Avante Windows and Doors and Os Energy, PristineAuction.com, number 86. We're seeing Persley in action at a wing 360 up at Merced. Take the wings off here for the CB Industries ride. He comes around, second time by. Was a little bit slower, third time as well. His opening lap going to be his best attempt at a 12.152. Jake Swanson ends up second quick at a 12.379. As the checker flag flies, Group 2 of Group 2. A.J. Bender coming around third time by. Best for him goes third quick. Brian Whitley and Jeff Shelton ends up running at the top 5. So Whitley's going to go to the pole. Bender outside Swanson. Then Persley going to make up the first 2 rows in heat race number 2. So Logan Calderwood still with the quickest lap time so far out of the first 2 groups of qualifying, a 12.050. Real quick, let's check in with Drake.
Brian, if there was anybody questioning if Jake Swanson would be an appearance here at Turkey Night Grand Prix, at least in the Ultimate Sprint Car Series, I think he's questioned those doubters so far, rather silenced those doubters, as you talked about. They're second fastest. If you go back to our stay at Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway, the dirt track at it, rather, Jake Swanson had that pretty scary crash in on-stage roofing qualifying with an Austin Energy Drink USAC National Midget Championship. Got a little bit banged up in that one, scratched from the rest of that program over the course of the evening. And talking with him earlier today, he says, well, I'm still a little bit sore from that crash at Bakersfield, but now I'm just focusing on the sprint car here for Turkey Night. Jake grew up racing here, of course, his wife Jess from Ventura as well, or at least the Ventura area too. So I know this is a special one for Jake Swanson. As, like I said, if there was any doubters that he'd be ready to go for Ventura, he's definitely silenced them after his run there in qualifying.
Certainly a good run for him as the opening flight of cars for group number 3 begin to make their way out to the racing surface. Very tight confines here at the Ventura Raceway, getting on and off of the racetrack, so bringing the entire group out to the infield. Again, splitting the group in half. We'll have A and B, but everybody's still qualifying within that same heat race number 3 qualifying. Out to the speedway. Connor Wakeham set to be in this opening group at a Simi Valley, California. The Race Concepts, Motion Tire, JFM, Wakeham O number 9C. The 17V, Danny Faria out of Tulare, California, driving the Evan J. Schott Trucking, Grand Mag LLC. Flying Walrus Enterprises, J.C. Lansdowne, number 17B. As the first car is going to begin to fire here. Needing to get out of some of the dust and onto the track before that car would finally let loose. Lee Trenton Shelton, the 72T, out on track at Assembly Valley, California. The premier coach auto collision. Jeff Shelton, 360 XXX, number 72T. Getting a look at that car down in the infield. The 11, Tyler Cato out of Santa Rosa, California. Driven the Styles Motorsports. Greg Cato, 410 powered Maxim, number 11. Going to pull around onto the back straightaway. Now he's on track. Ricky Lewis out of Oxnard, California, the defending champion of the sprint car portion of Turkey Night in the Mesilla Valley Transportation, Stins and Haley Motorsports, Morris Farms. Ricky Lewis owned number 41. One driver on track, Logan Mitchell out of Santa Cruz. Not set to be in this group. He was supposed to be in qualifying group number 2. So the Walker Filtration number 86 Jr. being asked to leave the racing surface again. He was set to be in group number 2. Winding up, going to green. A couple of more drivers who were out on the racing surface that were not set to be in this group. Getting them cleared down into the infield as we're underway. Again, one lap to warm up, and then it is on the hammer to try to find out who's going to be the quick qualifier. Kicking off qualifying for the drivers again in heat race number 3. Josh Gillis coming around, setting the mark there for a moment in the bright spot. 360 powered DRC, CRW design number 18J. Ricky Lewis coming around, quickly taking that spot away with 17 or with a 12.795. That betters out to a 12.686. And Bromwell's got a couple of drivers tangled and coming to a stop over in turn number 1. It's like Connor Wakeham in the 9 and the 72 of Trenton Shelton. Coming to a stop. Rolling in, and oh my. Getting her locked up sideways, and the 9 with just nowhere to go. So those two drivers who were involved, both being told they are done for this qualifying group. Clarifying Shelton being told he is done for this qualifying session. The 9 collected up. He'll be able to stay out. And another driver, 17. Faria coming to a stop. That will signal the end of his qualifying run. So if you cause the yellow during the course of a group qualifying run, you are done for that group. If you are simply caught up and unable to avoid, you will be able to stay. So that's why the 9 remains on the racetrack. Green light's going to come back on. We will try to round out here in Group 3A on track, Group 3A. Ricky Lewis so far, the quickest driver on track, coming around the wave of the white flag. Checkered flag flying. Connor Wakeham looks like he's gone up to the top of the charts. Can Lewis retake it? He does not. It's going to be Wakeham, a 12.675. Ricky Lewis, a 12.686. Danny Faria Jr., despite not being able to come around for the final set of revolutions here, a 12.863, putting him third. Quick, Cato, Shelton, and Gillis end up rounding out that group. Will bring the second half of this qualifying group out to the speedway. They will be led by Alexa Herrera, New Kiwama, California driver, the 3H Cattle Company, All-American Drilling, Kiwama Buckhorns, Bill's Jerky number 5E, making her way down the back straightway. It's like Josh Young in the 75 out on the speedway, looking down at the list, should be in this group. Out of Roseville, California, the Bill Smith Repair, MetTech USA, Sierra Fuels, number 75. Blake Bauer in the Finkenbinder, Black Gold Racing, 360 Power, DRC number 3F, out of Brentwood, California, making his way here to the flag stand. Drivers will begin to wind up, and we'll get a look at the 36. Bob Newberry, a little bit of smoke out of the pipes on that machine. He's out of Oakley, California, the Delta RC, Accurate Automotive. TPU Trucking, number 36. Problems for the 75. He's going to pull down onto the apron of the racetrack, and we're going to go ahead and stay green. So Ricky Lewis, who is in the opening flight of qualifying group number 3, had the quick qualifying time for a while. Connor Wakeham was able to take it away, but now lap times coming in. One driver we haven't told you about yet, Carson Macedo at Lemoore, California, winner of the preliminary night 1 year ago. And the Tarleton & Sons Durst Incorporated, Maxim 410 Power number 21. He's going to jump up top, a 12.357. Blake Bauer, the Finkenbinder number 3, going to move up into second quick. Wakeham in third, Lewis and Faria. Right now the 5 quickest drivers. Checkered flag has fallen. And Carson Macedo. Winner of the Friday night portion a year ago. Right now, the quickest driver for the field of competitors for heat race number 3. Bauer, Wakeham, Lewis, Faria. That was your top 5. Cato, Newberry, Shelton, Gillis, and Herrera. Two groups, 4 more sets. So again, Logan Calderwood has been the quickest driver on track out of these qualifying groups with a 12.050. As group number 4 assembles down in the infield. Again, if you're just joining us here on the FloRacing broadcast, 5 groups in total, split into A and B. So 5 groups, 10 sets. Set to find Austin Wood on track out of Sacramento, California. Driver the Wise Racing engines. Maxim number 2. He is set to be in this group, the 8M. Jake Andriotti of Castro Valley, California. Picking up a pair of wins back in March here in both sprint car and midget competition. Blaine Corey, the 5K out to the Speedway. The Ridgecrest Homes, 360 power, Triple X, Elevated Auto Works, Limitless Auto Sales, number 5K. Third last chance qualifier a year ago, finished 5th, just shy of moving on. The driver in 10. He's out of Raisin City, California, the Fortitude Driving Development, Gary Silva Ranches. JB Critchley, MD Valley Financial, number 10M. This is Mitchell Moles. Mitchell Moles, the number 10M. Mentioned, once we got through Western World, he came out and played with the Avanti Windows and Doors at USAC CRA Series, picked up a pair of wins at Paris back on November 1st and November 8th, bringing his season total up to 4. A win at Kokomo, as well as that USAC national score at Paragon back in September. So through the warm-up and on the clock here, Andriotti comes around to set the mark at a 12.525. Mitchell Moles this year was the undisputed king of qualifying with the USAC Amsoil Sprint Car National Championship. We'll see if he can do the same here with the Ultimate Sprint Car Series. Coming up to second quick. As he took the white flag, checkered flag in the air. We'll see if he can pick up one more. Andriotti, his opening lap still uncontested. And second time getting to this one for Mitchell Moles. He'll end up second quick so far. Andriotti, a 12.525. Mitchell Moles second quick with a 12.536. Brian Bell with a 12.725. Blaine Corey a 12.818, and Austin Wood a 12.867. Justin McConville a 13.854. His third time around was his best attempt. Bit of sea mist kind of hovering around here, making its way in off of the water. Connor Spear out of Fillmore, California, the Channel Island floor coverings, area rug factory number 57. He's made his way out onto the racing surface. The 73C on track, I believe that's Cole Wakeham out of Simi Valley, California. The Shurcan MP Environmental. Number 73C, the 39E rolling just past the flag stand. Cal Edwards, I do believe, in that machine. Driver to Fountain Valley, California. The McKee Racing 410 Triple X. Van Dyne Engineering, number 39. '58 of Mark Henry Jr. of Lancaster, California. Driver the KP Prep and Fabrication, Cruiseman Sprint Car Driving Experience. High-Tech Performance, champion at Race Fuels number 58. Also out of the racetrack as we're going to set him loose here. Again, qualifying for heat race number 4. Look out, we got one flipping over in turn number 2. Red light's going to come on. And I believe Cole Wakeham, the driver that went for a tumble over in turn number 2, backed her in, and she just kept on a-going. So getting word from trackside as they start to get the car back upright. Driver is okay. A lot of damage on the front of the number 73 as Drake down on scene. Let's head down to him.
The long and short of it, Brian, is the front end is absolutely destroyed on Wakeham's car. You can see the right front pretty much folded all the way back towards the headers of this race car. I took a look at the rear end, though. Everything looks pretty straight on that, so the main focus in the JFM pit is going to be addressing this front end. This is easily going to be a front end swap for Wakeham, and hate to see this for one of the locals here at Ventura. The last few years, he's racked up a lot of wins here in a few different race cars, but mostly the non-wing sprint car, and already his Turkey Night not off to a good start. It's going to be an uphill battle for him and the team the rest of the weekend for the JFM 73, Brian.
Thank you very much as the fog rolling in off of the Pacific here. We can still read the back straightaway, though. So they'll work on getting the 73 cleared from over in turn number 2. So the car hooked up and stabilized. They'll get it cleared down into the pit area. So the car is going to refire and continue on here in qualifying for the Ultimate Sprint Car Series. Again, the second group of heat race number 4 in the Speedway. Make sure and swing by and get your Turkey Night Grand Prix t-shirts and hooded sweatshirts while your size is still available. Limited quantities of apparel and goodies down at the USAC merchandise trailer. And, of course, the roster available for only $1 while supplies last as we're underway. Reminder, if you're watching online and wanting to find where the live timing and scoring is for tonight, it is on the My Race Pass app. Again, MRP is where you can find everything here tonight. Quick reminder, the live timing and scoring, as well as any results posted to the app, are unofficial. Jake Andriotti remains the quickest driver here for the drivers that'll find themselves in heat race number 4. Mark Henry going to end up 8th quick, a 13.654 for him. Kyle Edwards going to go 7th, and Connor Spear going to come around. He's going to end up 3rd quick. His opening lap was his best one at a 12.617. So Andriotti, Mole, Spear, Bryant Bell, and Blaine Corey end up the 5 quickest. Again, 4-car inversion in each one of the heat races. So you'll have Bell to the pole, Spear to the right of run number 1, Moles, and Andriotti, top 3 out of each one of those heats, moving on directly into the feature event. So final group of qualifiers making their way down into the infield. Looking at the overall, Calderwood still quickest with a 12.050. Kayla Montgomery with a 12.336. Carson Macedo with a 12.357. Grant Sexton with a 12.378. And fifth quick, Nate Shank at a 12.397. So the final group of cars out to the speedway, I believe. Drake with an update.
The last few weeks have not been easy for the 29T team with Ryan Timmons behind the wheel. If you go back to just a few weeks ago to the regular season finale with the Ultimate Sprint Car Series, he had a very, very scary crash, tore up that race car basically to shreds. That car was completely demolished by the end of that night here at the Ventura Raceway. So funny enough, this car they're running has already been crashed massively once this year at the Louis Vermeil Classic at Calistoga Speedway with the Avante Windows and Doors USAC CRA Sprint Car Series. Ryan was telling me, well, after we crashed this car at Calistoga, we welded it up, we put it back together, but we just really weren't sure about it. Decided to go back to another car that he then ran the next, say, month and a half, and then crashed here at Ventura. So this is actually the car that he crashed at Calistoga and that has been welded together on the front end a few times. He told me, look, it's not perfectly straight. It's still a little bit tweaked, but we think we have a lot of speed in this race car. And, of course, when it comes to 360 racing in general out here on the West Coast, Ryan Timmons is a guy you don't want to mess with. Back in 2023, he was the now defunct USAC West Coast Sprint Car Series champ. And whenever we come to Ventura for Turkey Night, he's always a contender. He's a guy I definitely would not count out over the course of this weekend, Brian.
Definitely not. Thank you very much. Drivers out to the racing surface here in just a moment for our final group of qualifying. Again, A and B format in each one of these groups. Matt Meredith was the first driver out to the speedway at 1,000 Oaks, California. Driver the Cantech Engineering 360 powered Maxim at number 6M. Here at the flag stand, that was Ryan Timmons in the 29T out of Pleasant Hill, California, driving the Evergood Fine Foods. Timmons Auto Truck and RV Repair, Redline Oil. Maxwell Industries, number 29, Through the Fog. The 2STX going to make its way around. Brent Steck in Roseville, California. The Joe Hunt Magneto. Tyner Hurst, Bohung Motorsports. Number 2. The 63D. John DeWeese at Lemoore, California. The Kings Racing Products. Willett Ranch. They are powder coating in Lemoore. 360 power. Triple X number 63D. Going to smoke them onto the field here as we go to green in qualifying group 5A. Oh my, we are crossing lanes with no signal here at the exit to number 4. Thought for a second there, the 3FF of Kyle Shipley was going to go for a ride off of the front end. Jacob Tuttle's number 87. Luckily, the Line-X machine quick onto the brakes. And Drake talked about Ryan Timmons. Certainly one of the ones to watch out here on the West Coast, especially in 360 competition. And he is at the top of the board right now, a 12.392. Currently puts him on top. Third time around, not going to improve. Jacob Tuttle, though, every time around has consistently been getting better. He goes to second quick with a 12.830. Brent Steck, third quick with a 12.931. Shipley, Meredith, and DeWeese. So final group of cars for qualifying, firing out to the speedway. TJ Smith out of Fresno, California, the 86E rolling into turn number 1. Getting a look at the driver rolling off of turn number 4. The 78 of Brody Wake at Lake Havasu City, Arizona. The Ryan Drywall 360 powered Triple X. The Master Remodel. Creative Sportswear number 78. David Gasper on track, rolling into turns 1 and 2. The Kittle Motorsports, Gasper Racing, Art Klee, DRC 410 powered, Valley Precision Products number 18. Trio of wins on the season, including a win in USCS competition here back in September, 23rd last year in your preliminary feature event. And as they'll wind them up and they will set them loose here. Brent Owens also on track, getting a look at him at Rancho Cucamonga, California, driving the Owens Insurance Agency. Rain Guard Roofing, PCI, CJC Design, Western Oil, SoCal Bird and Bee, number 71. Ryan Timmons with the mark to beat here in this qualifying group, a 12:392. Kevin Thomas Jr. coming around in 17. He'll jump to second quick. 0.157 seconds off of the pace of Timmons. And we'll see if KTJ can pick up just a little bit more here in that quick change entry. Checkered flag going to fly in this one, and looks like it will beat Timmons. Holding on to it, David Gasper jumping up to second quick, his third time by. 0.069 seconds off of the pace of Timmons with a 12:392. Gasper a 12:461. KTJ a 12:549. Jacob Tuttle a 12:830. And Brent Steck a 12:931. The 5 quickest drivers in your final flight of qualifying. So at a qualifying, the fastest overall is a driver coming out of Goodyear, Arizona, the MP Environmental, Chuck D's Wieners, Rex's Tattoo and Massage Parlor, Black Magic Bead Breaker, Triple X number 6 race fans, Logan Calderwood was the quickest driver in sprint car qualifying this evening. So a quick look at the USCS track record. And how about that? It's going to be a new one. The previous one, 12:164, set by A.J. Bender 1 year ago. So Logan Calderwood, now the official one-lap track record holder here in USCS competition. So right now, our first hot lap session, dirt draft hot lap session for the USAC NOS Energy Drink Midget National Championship coming out to the Speedway. Carson Macedo is rolled out to the Speedway in Lemoore, California. The complete parts and equipment, Tarleton & Sons Empire number 99 AU. Karuba Studio 56 going and getting a really nice interview with the car owner on that machine, the Dyson Motorsports entry. Talking about some of his racing history, both in Australia and the United States. You can find that on USAC's social media channels. So that beautifully restored number 14 that you've seen rolling around the racetrack, we actually got a chance to go look at that car as they were still doing some work on it. That is the Hagopian family, number 14. Brent Koenig wheeling that car to victory at Turkey Night. And the driver behind the wheel. If you know what driven performance is in the world of micro racing, That's the man who builds them, Jake Hagopian. Preston Norbury is out on the racetrack as well. Chino Valley, Arizona. The Kodiak product, Coyote race car is number 77AZ. The 20X of Kyle Haas out onto the racetrack as well. Going to look at Cale Coons, a 63, just getting the fire over into turn number 1. Haas coming around here off of turn number 4, the 84 machine. Dason Pursley onto the racetrack at Locust Grove, Oklahoma. The Avante Windows and Doors, pristineauction.com, number 84, the 45. Joey Bishop out on the speedway, was on the entry list last year. Unfortunately, was not able to make the call, so good to see Joey in action here this evening. The 17A, Drake Cardy out of Riverside, California. The Inland Rigging JFN one-way Chevrolet Spike chassis number 17. Rolling down the back straightaway. Cale Coons out of Greencastle, Indiana. The Curb Records, Coletta Charters, Impact number 63, one of our Turkey Night Rookie of the Year contenders. As the field begin to wind up and let loose here in Dirt Draft Hot Lap session number 1. Sacramento, California driver Austin Wood also on track. The Ghost Shield Speedway Toyota Spike chassis. Dennis Hart owned number 15. Initially, Wood was not set to compete here this weekend. However, jumping behind the wheel of that number 15. Last time we saw him on track was in a Matt Wood Racing entry. We'll expect to see him in that same car when it comes time for the Chili Bowl Nationals, powered by NOS Energy. Dason Purse is the quickest driver on track for that Dirt Draft Hot Lap session with a 12:192. Garza Macedo, Cale Coons, Preston Norbury, and Drake Cardy, the 5 quickest drivers. Cars making their way out. We'll have another group of drivers going to speed here. Real quick, let's check them with Drake York.
Well, Brian, I'm sure as you could tell from the FloRacing broadcast, it's still awfully foggy out here at Ventura Raceway, and I feel like a lot of the crew members in the pit area have to be scratching their heads of what the racetrack is going to do, whether you're practicing in the midget tonight or running the sprint car with the Ultimate Sprint Car Series. I was trying to rack my brain of times I've been in situations like this. Placerville for the Hangtown 100 a few years ago comes to mind too, where it was pretty similar conditions and the racetrack stayed very fast, but I'm still looking at turns 3 and 4. The moisture definitely is staying in the racetrack a lot more, but there's still a few teensy-weensy little itsy-bitsy dry spots in the middle of the racetrack too, so it doesn't seem to maybe be bringing the moisture back to it. I'm also reminded by some friends in Australia, the sea mist that you get out at Sun Gold Stadium Premier Speedway during the Classic especially and the Aussie title. We've seen sea mist like this come into play at the racetrack, and sometimes it could bring that moisture back too, but of course you're here by the ocean in Ventura, so sometimes the tide has something to do with it too. There's just so many factors that makes Ventura Raceway interesting on a bright sunny day. Now you throw this fog into it, man, things are going to get interesting tonight in the midgets for practice and the sprint cars for their racing program.
Mentioned it was warm today, and that warm, moist air over the cooler ocean, which cooling to its dew point, that is what's causing all this to blow in. So hopefully it will clear here. Can only dream, can only wish. I'm a desert rat. I don't understand what goes on by the ocean. Drivers getting word over the receiver one-way communication to go ahead and get spread out and ready to go. The Mobile One, number 71 of Buddy Kofoid at Pine Grove, California. Out on the speedway, Jake Andriotti out of Castro Valley, California. The hothead engine heaters, Esslinger Spike 00. Coming off of a fourth-place finish up at the Jason Leffler Memorial up at Bakersfield on Tuesday. The 86 machine, Ty Gibbs out of Charlotte, North Carolina. The Monster Energy, Toyota Racing Development, PristineAuction.com, number 86, provisional into the field of Bakersfield. And was able to drive it up to an 18th place finish. Things running for Kyle Jones out of Kennedale, Texas. The G Hood Construction, Belling Racing Equipment, Valco Rush Race Gear, number 27. The 5P, Justin Peckett of Monrovia, Indiana. The Avanti Windows and Doors, Apache Transport. Team Petty Rossi Racing, number 5. And the driver behind him right now is the 71K, Cannon McIntosh at a big speed. The Mobile One TRD Curb Records Toyota, number 71K. So Dason Pursley, the quickest driver on track so far with a 12.192. Carter Sarf with a 12.197. Cannon McIntosh with a 12.320. Carson Macedo, 12.402. And Buddy Kofoid, fifth quick at a 12.461. Again, the USAC merchandise trailer is open and waiting for you. Driver merchandise available up in the grandstand area. You got Cale Drake, Jacob Denny, Gavin Miller, Cannon McIntosh, Logan Seavey, and Mitchell Moles. Don't forget, when you shop online at USAC Racing, 25% off Black Friday sale on the entire website. That goes through Monday night, so good chance to jump on to USACgear.com and stock up on USAC inventory. Again, 25% off on the Black Friday sale that goes through Monday. Mentioned earlier, a very limited supply of Jason Leffler Memorial t-shirts still available online. That goes through tomorrow night. So getting a look on board here with Kyle Larson, and from the tower, of course, the fog looks pretty thick from the onboard. Not too bad, actually, from the driver's point of view. So again, this is the view from the top. You're looking at Larson's FloRacing number 1, but we go back down to his onboard, and not bad at all. So that was the big question on social media. Not only is it going to be live on Flow, but is Larson going to be there? And finally getting confirmation, his name added to the entry list just a couple of days ago. In the HendrickCars.com, FloRacing number 1, the 17, rolling behind him. Matthew Radisich out of Auckland, New Zealand. The Autolife Mud Wizard number 17, the 14. Rolling through turns 3 and 4. Chuck Seiper Racing entry. Michael Facino on the 14T out on track. Sorali going to come to speed now out of Stockton, California. The All-Pro Coatings Tailtac number 32, the 97. Kel Drake out of Collinsville. The Eibach Toyota KKM Give Back Classic number 97K. Look out, we got one facing the wrong way here over the bottom side of turns 1 and 2. Not what you want to talk about, Bruno. San Jose, California driver of the Tailtac National Towing. Arbor Specialist number 32T coming around to face the wrong way. Back on board with Kyle Larson as he is at speed down the back straightaway and into turns 3 and 4. Currently 9th quick of the drivers that have been on track with a 12.571. Dayson Pursley a 12.192. The 98K also on track. Driver to Sheffield, England. That's Brandon Carr. KKM, Kerbagajanian, J. Davidson scrap metal number 98K. So cycling through on this opening flight of Dirt Draft Hot Laps. Car coming to rest over in turns 3 and 4. I believe Grant Shad, the driver that came to a stop over there. Indeed, the driver to Santan Valley, Arizona. The defending champion of Turkey Night out to the Speedway out of Clovis, California. Driver the Jet Fitness, Sand Engineering, 4Cs Construction, Factory Kane, Triple X number 4K, Corey Dagg, and make his way onto the back straightaway. '97 of Gavin Miller out of Allentown, Pennsylvania. The Sound Gear Toyota Racing Development, Mobile 1 KKM Kerbagajanian number 97. Two-time starter in Turkey Night A feature competition. Another one of our Turkey Night rookies out of Canyon, Texas, the Sierra Towing and Crushing, Sonny's Grocery, Dumas Iron and Metals, Chandler Grand Prix, Jeff Reese number 20Q. That's Brecken Reese. Brecken Reese making his way to the exit of turn at number 4. Final driver pulling out to the speedway, and I believe that was Kaylee Bryson. Young lady out of Muskogee, Oklahoma, the 2024 Trans Am SGT and 2025 XGT champion. Jet Yantis at a Bakersfield, the current asphalt. United Well Services, Stanton Spike number 4Y, rolling in turns 1 and 2. The 14. I believe that is Boxel in the 14 JB, who is out on track in the Four Kings. Acro Seal number 14. As we'll wind him up and set him loose. So Jacob Denny going to go to the top of the charts here with 12.180, 12.180 for Jacob Denny. Persley second quick, Sarf, McIntosh, Boxel just on track, going to fifth quick. The 19 AZ. Pacing on to the back straightaway, Hayden Reinbold of the Gilbert, Arizona, the AMA Electrical Indy Race Sports number 19. Connor Lundy in the 2P, the Avante. Number 2 making his way off of turn number 4 and around onto the near side of the speedway. Brody Graham at a Bakersfield, the B&B Oilfield Consulting, Stanton Spike number 66 on the back straightaway. In search of his first feature start in Turkey Night competition. Brody Wake at Lake Havasu City, Arizona, the master remodeler, Kelco Holmes, Spike. BWR Racing, Ryan Wake, number 78, another one of our Turkey Night Rookie of the Year contenders here to the front straightaway. TJ Smith out of Fresno, California, the Trico Construction S-Slinger, CSI 68 Motorsports, number 68. off to a rough start here. The 66 of Graham going to face the wrong way in a one-way street over here in turn number 4. So being told, looks like this group and possibly one more going to make their way out here for Dirt Draft Hot Laps. 38 drivers overall have made their way out to the racing surface in this opening flight of Hot Laps for the USAC NOS Energy Drink Midget National Championship. So we'll get Graham refired. We'll get him wound back up. Live timing and scoring for the sprint cars on my race pass for USAC competition. It is over on Race Monitor if you're looking for times. As we go back to green, Dalton Gabbard out of Peoria, Arizona. The Safari pulls the landscaping. Speedway Total Link chassis, M. Rossi, number 77 at speed. Last year during Hot Laps, that car ended up scoring a hole-in-one, flipping, starting about there and landing in the exit road. So Gabbard looking to stay things upright here and have a much better start to his Turkey Night. And problems for the 6-8 Motorsports entry down into the infield, clear from the racetrack though. Drake Edwards in the 83 out on the speedway. Driver out of Peoria, Arizona. The Avante Gozadores, PriceAuction.com, number 83. Gunner sets her out to the speedway to Columbus, Indiana. He rolls down the back straightaway. Driving the Midwest 2 Mills Broad Properties. The Gear starts out. Sets her fabricated number 43, the Kevin Arnold own entry. Kevin Thomas Jr. to Coleman, Alabama. The Acrosil Metalloid 1 MW Manufacturing Inferno Armor number 14. Going to pace around the bottom side of turns 3 and 4. Brian Drollinger out of San Pedro, California. Driver the Sweeney Motorsports, Golden State Plumbing Simpson, Van Dyne Chevrolet Spike number 71. Driver making his way into turns 3 and 4. Another one of our Turkey Night Rookie of the Year contenders. The listing of rookie contenders coming into this weekend, you can find that when you go to USAC social media channels, both on Facebook and on X. Search USAC Racing and USAC Nation to follow along. Michael Pickens out of Auckland, New Zealand, TheDave.com, JFM, Smart Machine Tools, Stanton Bioman Motorsports number 31 here in the front straightaway. ...2021 winner of the Turkey Night out of Sutter, California, the McVeigh Trucking, Highland, Indy Power Sports, Indy Fuel, CGCPA, Stanton Spike. Abacus Race at number 57, you're looking at Logan Seavey. Logan Seavey in the 57, rolling the bottom side of turn number 2. Cole Wakeham in the 55 out of Simi Valley, California, the HP Enterprises, Chevrolet Triple X, Lambert Motorsports, JFN number 55. Rolling by him as he makes his way into turns at 3 and 4. Preston Norbury also on track, the temperature-controlled Coyote Race Cars number 77. As we're green here. Again, about to wrap up Dirt Drive Hot Laps for the USAC NOS Energy Drink Midget National Championship. Checker flag. And Kevin Thomas Jr., the quickest driver on track. 6th quick overall, right behind his teammate Jacob Boxell. 9 thousandths between the two Four Kings Racing machines. But Jacob Denny, quickest among the drivers that came out for Dirt Draft Hot Laps. Talk about this car a little bit earlier, but that car has stood in victory lane. And Turkey Night, the Hagopian, number 14, restored to its glory. And now Jake Hagopian, multi-time winner of the Tulsa Shootout. Dominant driver in micro racing up and down the West Coast. Gets a chance to pilot a piece of his family's racing legacy. Really cool to see a piece of history, not only for this event, but for West Coast racing, making laps once again. And, of course, the Hagopian family with so much success for so many generations. Just about ready to get things going here tonight. Before we get things going, though, we got to talk to tonight's quick qualifier with the Ultimate Sprint Car Series. Let's go down trackside.
Thank you so much, Brian. Logan Calderwood and I were talking earlier today, and he was telling me how excited he was to not only come to the Turkey Night Grand Prix, but Ventura Raceway. Logan, a place that just seems to fit you and your driving style. But we look at the field that we have in the non-wing sprint cars. Obviously, you got your good California guys. You got the USCS regulars, but you got World of Outlaw drivers. You got guys that run with and without the wing in California, national drivers, too. So to be the quickest out of all of them here tonight, I imagine that's got to be a really big feather in your cap.
I mean, yeah, it's always good. I know we've been fast the last couple times with Melissa and the USCS stuff. I think we were a quick time the last 3 races, 3 or 4. And, you know, just to continue that speed here, I'm happy with it. And especially to do it on this stage where I kind of sucked at qualifying last year. But we were good, and it sets us up good for tonight and tomorrow night.
The weather is going to be a big question tonight of what it's going to be like. First off, have you raced in anything like this? I don't think they really get this in the desert. And second, how do you think it will not only impact the track, but the racing as well with the amount of fog we have here at Ventura right now?
I think it'll just affect us on the start or the opening lap or two, and once we get to that point, we'll get moving and clear the track off. But I think it might be a little bit of a hinder seeing ahead, but, once we're out front, we don't have to look that far ahead.
Logan Calderwood, he's got some cars to pass, though, later on in his heat race with that invert that we have going for our heat races, Brian. But he's your quick time qualifier here on night number 1 of the Turkey Night Grand Prix with the Ultimate Sprint Car Series.
Not only that, but he also picked up the new single lap track record in USCS competition here tonight. So congratulations again to the Arizona driver for being tonight's quick qualifier. So with that, with the inversion of the heat races, that'll put him on the outside of row number 2 in heat race number 1. We're going to have just a little bit before we get into opening ceremonies here this evening. Have 5 minutes or so you have just a bit of time to go down, get something to eat, something to drink. Swing by, get your Turkey Night t-shirt, or swing by the USAC merchandise trailer. Again, those rosters for the USAC NOS Energy during Mid-National Championship available while supplies last for only $1. Leffler t-shirts, USAC t-shirts, and more. So as we will let Logan make his way back to the trailer, here on the FloRacing broadcast, we're going to step away. It's night number 1 of Turkey Night. We'll be back.
It's the most storied midget race of them all. Get to the beach of California's Ventura Raceway for the 84th running of the ARP Turkey Night Grand Prix, presented by the West Coast Stock Car Motorsports Hall of Fame on Saturday night, November 29th. Corey Day will attempt to defend his Turkey Night glory at the Seaside Oval. Challengers include Justin Grant and Logan Seavey, both of whom have kissed the Aggie Hat Trophy as Turkey Night winners as they all chase the $15,000 top prize. For tickets and more info, visit VenturaRaceway.com. It's the USAC NOS Energy during Midget National Championship season finale. It's the Turkey Night Grand Prix. It's the crown jewel, and it's the one you don't want to miss.
Whatever you drive, however you drive. AMSOIL specially engineers lubricants to maximize power, performance, and protection in your vehicles, so you can work hard and play hard with confidence. Order online at amsoil.com.
Car IQ Pay allows people to pay for all vehicle expenses without a credit card or a fuel card. As an all-in-one payment solution, Car IQ Pay takes care of every step of the fueling journey, from station routing to payment and fraud prevention to simplification to back-end reconciliations. Drivers can find the nearest fuel station right on the app's fuel map, or even filter locations based on their preferred merchant or fuel type. It's seamless. Just a quick enter of the pump number and you're ready to fuel up. Car IQ Pay generates an automatic virtual receipt that enters into a single transaction ledger, giving fleet operators a complete simplified view of their total spend. What's even more, Car IQ Pay gathers vehicle data to give fleets complete transparency into their fleet, from route behavior to overall share of wallet. Car IQ, the better way for fleets to pay. Find out more at gocariq.com.
Honest Abe Roofing is America's favorite roofing company.
They took the time to discuss all of our needs.
I couldn't be happier with my new roof.
The best part? They came in under budget.
Honest Abe Roofing helped us with their easy payment solutions, and now we can make low payments on the roof that we actually wanted.
I guarantee you'll get the best price for your roof. That's what my ironclad lowest investment guarantee is all about.
Race fans, use code RACE for 10% off of a full roof replacement from our executive collection.
When you buy from Lou Fuse Kia Terre Haute, you're backed by Fuse. Hurry in to save on rows and rows of brand new Kias, with more on the way. Plus, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty. The all-new K4 Seltos, Sportage, Telluride, and more. All backed by Fuse. Because if it has our name on it, you have our word on it. Rush to Lou Fuse Kia Terre Haute today. Home of the 200,000-mile warranty. Lou Fuse, we are family.
There's a moment behind the wheel of what I've built, where power overrides gravity, and I hit that zero moment. Zero doubts, zero fear, zero competition. No rule or mold I can't break. And limits, absolutely zero. And there's a NOS zero sugar to get me there.
Hey, are you caught in the tariff trap, rising costs, and unpredictable delays? Well, it's time to reshore, reclaim, and reinvent with Parallax Group Incorporated. With over 30 years of expertise, we deliver high-quality assembly and manufacturing solutions right here in North America. Our strategically located facility near the U.S. border ensures faster distribution and reduced logistics costs. Experience efficiency, control, and excellence in every product. Parallax Group Incorporated, quality assembly processes in North America.
Go harder, faster, stronger with Rod End Supply. Whether you are running industrial, farming equipment, or a race car, Rod End Supply has the assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products that will help you lead the field in performance. Our superior design means our rod ends last longer and perform better, giving you the edge on the track and saving you money. Contact Rod End Supply or order online today at rodendsupply.com. We don't just sell them, we race them. rodendsupply.com. Serving the racing community for over 30 years.
Crashing, it hurts, right? The car owner usually pays to get the car fixed, but who pays for you to get fixed? Are you a race car driver that does not have coverage insurance? Steeda is your answer. Don't race another lap without being covered. Get info now at Steeda.com or call 1-800-378-4608.
Welcome back to the broadcast here on FloRacing. The push vehicles riding in the racing surface here before we get into opening ceremonies. If you're just joining us on the broadcast, Ultimate Sprint Car qualifying as well as the opening flight of Dirt Draft Hot Laps in the books here for the USAC NOS Energy Drink Midget National Championship. Jacob Denny was the quickest driver on track in that opening group of Hot Laps. So, by the way, he was the quickest last year and the year before and the year before in the opening flight of Dirt Draft Hot Laps. So, the fourth year in a row, Jacob is starting off on the right foot. And of course, Jacob getting awfully close to getting this trophy on the mantle last year. So here in a little bit, the trucks will begin to make their way off of the racing surface. Once they clear, we'll be ready to go into our invocation and national anthem. Got a few of them down there. Just need a couple more to go ahead and make that trip. So tow trucks are going to make their way back into the pits. With that, ladies and gentlemen, would ask that you please rise for tonight's invocation and national anthem. If you would, please remove cover. Out of respect to those who serve this nation and in honor of those who have given their lives in her defense, we turn to American Racing Ministries Chaplain Tim Spillman.
Can we all pray? Father God, once again we pause. We thank you for all your blessings and all of your love that you give to each and every one of us. Thank you for the opportunity of being here, Ventura Raceway. Thank you for all the hospitality that we feel. And we ask you to bless us, protect us. Thank you for all the military, Lord, that is standing around this world and to bring us so we can assemble like we're doing this evening. We ask you to bring them all home safe very soon. Thank you for all the sponsors that come along to help make all this possible. And we ask a special blessing on each and every home that is represented. Keep us in your loving arms. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Heat race number 1 for the Ultimate Sprint Cars Series. Again, top 3 is where you want to be to race your way directly into the show. All the results from tonight set up tomorrow. So every position is going to count. Flying Walrus Enterprises, heat race number 1. 8 times around in your lineup for this opening venture. We'll head to the green like this on the pole at Santa Rosa, California. The Lawson Rock and Oil, Hunt Magnetos, 410 Power, DRC Sonoma Paint Center number 1. It's going to be Nate Shank. Outside your opening row, you'll find the 22S. That is Grant Sexton at Lakeside, California, to the Sexton Fire Protection, East County Electric Works, Key Brothers, number 22. Third starting spot, it'll be Caleb Montgomery. Montgomery at Templeton, California, driving the Woodland Auto Display, shopcaleb.com, MP Environmental Inland Rigging. Caleb Montgomery owned at number 3 machine. And next to him, your quick qualifier tonight out of Goodyear, Arizona, driving the MP Environmental Black Magic Bead Breaker. Triple X, Chuck D's Wieners, number 6. That will be Logan Calderwood. Hunter Maddox making the trip out of the state of Indiana. He will line up at the inside of your next row. He's out of Bloomington, driving the Line X. Contra Costa Radiators, G&G, NBUA Tuttle, number 87. And the 13M going to line up in from the 6th starting spot. Out of Goleta, California, driving the Butler Racing, Butler built, 360 powered Stealth, number 13M. That is McGarren Butler. Dalen Pereira out of Hilo, Hawaii, driving the DRC, Southwest Building Solutions, paint by Steve the Race Shack. Fast Track Designs, number 21B, going for the inside of run number 4. Next to him will be Cole Macedo. Macedo out of Lemoore, California. The Tarleton & Sons, Durst Incorporated, 360-powered Maxim, number 21T. The 71D inside of your next row, that is going to be Brian Drollinger. He's out of San Pedro, California, driving the DDR Simpson Walker Filtration, 410 ART chassis, number 71. And alongside the 72C, going to be Cody Majors. He's out of Simi Valley, California. The Triple X Premier Coach 360 powered, number 72. Final row for the inside, Brody Sim. He's out of Albany, Oregon, driving the Banks Tax Services Triple X Butler Built Seats. Courage Graphics number 04. And your final starter is set to be Brent Yarnell out of Phoenix, Arizona. The Buzzer Pest Control. M&D Enterprises, DR Media Solutions, Yarnell Racing number 29. As that'll be your schedule lined up again for Walrus Enterprises Heat Race number 1 with the Ultimate Sprint Car Series. 8 times around, top 3. Lock into the main event. So again, live timing and scoring for the Ultimate Sprint Car Series, as well as lineups, results, and more. You can find that on the My Race Pass app. So Walrus Enterprises sponsor Heat Race number 1. And Doug, you guys have a couple of different Heat Race sponsors here tonight. Sponsors, rather.
Yeah, definitely. Heat Race number 1 brought to you by Flying Walrus Enterprises. Heat Race number 2 will be brought to you by King Racing Products. Heat Race number 3 tonight will be brought to you by RGW. That's Rick's Gateworks. Heat Race number 4, Sexton Fire Protection. And rounding out Heat Race number 5, Sure Can Coatings. Definitely want to thank all of our sponsors for the Ultimate Sprint Car Series.
Looking back to the last trip here to Ventura for the Ultimate Sprint Car Series, David Gasper was in victory lane. Brody Fuson was next to him on the podium. Brent Sexton ended up on the final podium step. Jacob Tuttle was fourth that night. Connor Spear crossing in fifth. James Fillingame in sixth. John Deweese in seventh. Hannah Mayhew crossed in eighth. Cammie Bell in ninth. And Greg Gorski was the top 10. That was back in September. So again, Nate Shake, Grant Sexton, run number 1. Caleb Montgomery, Logan Calderwood, run number 2. Hunter Maddox, McGarren Butler, run number 3. Dylan Pereira and Nicole Macedo, run number 4. Brian Drollinger, Cody Majors, run number 5. Brody Sim, Brent Yarnell, run number 6. Side by side. To the start zone, exiting turn number 4. They'll find the throttle. We're underway. Everybody going to race off into turns 1 and 2. Nate Shane getting a little bit of air underneath him there for a second. A little bit of tap coming there. Everybody going to make their way by. A lot of humidity in the air right now, and the right rear show it. We got steamed Hoosiers up for grabs here as they make their way onto the back straightaway. Shank, another bit of a hassle getting through turns 1 and 2 that time. Better over in turns 3 and 4, but that does open the door. A couple of drivers sneaking to his inside. Grant Sexton taking over the third spot. A little bit of contact between himself and Hunter Maddox on the front straightaway. The Linux number 87 to make his way by now, looking for the final ticket into the show here. Trying to avoid running one of those last chance qualifiers here. Oh, we got one flipping over into turn number 1. Red light's going to come on. So it looks like Drollinger, the driver that got upside down, a little bit of fuel burning out of the headers there. Able to look down, he's getting the steering wheel off, so he is okay crawling up out of that race car. And it was contact with another driver who had slowed very suddenly into turn number 1. That sent the 71D going for a ride. So Drake is down at the car. He's talking to the driver. We'll see if we can go down and get a quick update.
Brian, fortunate enough to actually get a chance to catch up with Brian Drollinger, who just now emerging from the 71D. Hate to see this happen to you early in the heat race. What happened to you down here in turn number 1?
Looked like the white car in front of me slowed up 10, 15 miles an hour slower, and I just ran him over and held on.
Tough break indeed for Brian Drollinger. The good news once again is he is up and out of that race car. Severe front end damage to this race car. That's at least going to be a front axle replacement. Hopefully not too much else is damaged on the 71D, and hopefully we can see Brian later on in the program.
Thank you very much. Crews checking to see if anybody is down in the work area. So able to get a look at the damage on the front of that number 71, the 21P Pereira, the driver that pulled down off of the racetrack. And reports that is the driver that slowed into turns 1 and 2. Drollinger again making contact and using the back of his car more as a ramp. Track is cleared. Caution lights will come back on. 3 laps completed. Caleb Montgomery leading. Logan Calderwood in second. Grant Sexton in third. Hunter Maddox, Nate Shank, they've been in a good battle with the 22 to try and take away that third spot. Shank had started on the pole. A little bit of a hop, skip, and a jump at the start through turns 1 and 2. Shuffled him back. Again, it is going to be tough to race your way in out of these heat races. 5 in total. So a dozen cars to start things off, 11 after this. So Montgomery, 3rd to 1st right now. Calderwood, 4th to 2nd. Sexton started outside of the front row. Shuffle back to that 3rd spot. Maddox in the 87. Took the green from 5th. He's up 1 right now. Shank from the poles back to 5th. Brody Sim, he's the driver on the move, though. He's already up into that 6th spot. He started 11th. Cole Macedo in 7th. Majors, Butler, and Yarnell should be your top 10. Again, USCS competition out here in California, a combination of both 360 and 410 power plants. On the 410 side, you do have to run a restrictor. That does kind of help even up the horsepower a little bit. Single file. Past the pylon here at the exit to number 4. They find the throttle. We're back underway. Keep an eye on the final transfer spot. They were right there on him before the caution or make that the red came out, but now able to get just a little bit of breathing room. But don't take too big of a breath because Hunter Maddox is right there in the hunt. Trying to get up and grab away the 3rd spot here as they work into turns 3 and 4. In the meantime, Kayla Montgomery doing Kayla Montgomery things out front in the 3. A little bit of a rough go in prelim competition last year. A 21st place finish for the Templeton, California driver. Setting a nice pace here around to the front straightaway. He'll come around to click off lap number 6. Logan Calderwood picking up that quick qualifying time tonight. Rides in that 2nd spot. Grant Sexton still running in 3rd. They come around to the way with a white flag. 1 to go. As Cole Macedo in the number 21 trying to make things happen here in the closing laps. Jump to the high side of turns 3 and 4. Is going to dive to the bottom through turns 1 and 2. Trying to get 1 spot closer, but going to run out of time as the checker flag drops. Caleb Montgomery picking up heat race number 1. Look out! Contact! The 87 went all kinds of sideways. And Cole Macedo with no choice but to straighten him out. The good news, everybody keeps upright. The bad news, 1 spot shy of a transfer. So the 3 drivers moving on. Grant Sexton in 3rd, Logan Calderwood in 2nd, and your winner in heat race number 1 at a Templeton, California. Driver of the Woodland Auto Display, shopcaleb.com, MP Environmental number 3 race fans. Give him a hand, Caleb Montgomery. Heat race number 2 going to be able to make its way out to the racing surface. Brian Whitley out of Ventura, California. Driver of the Porter Store. Trent Shore, number 22. Going to lead him down to the drop of the green flag. Outside your opening row, going to be A.J. Bender out of San Diego, California. Driver of the Royal Scouting. Matrix Construction, Key Brothers Racer, number 21B. Jake Swanson out of Anaheim, California. The Tom Dunkel Racing. Inland Rigging, Maximum Oil, DRC 410 Power, number 17X. Going to go from 3rd. From the 4th spot, you'll find Dason Pursley at Locust Grove, Oklahoma. The Avante Windows Doors, NOS Energy, PristineAuction.com, Spike number 86. Next row from the inside, you'll find Jeff Shelton. He's out of Simi Valley, California. Driver of the FK Rod-Ins, Miller Welders, the Racer's Edge, number 72. And from the 6th starting spot, the 17J, Jeff Fillingame. He's out of Simi Valley, California. Driver of the Nicky Fillingame sponsored Maxim, number 17J. Brent Sexton, he's out of Lakeside, California. Driver of the Sexton Fire Protection, Key Brothers, BR Motorsports, number 44. Inside of your next row, outside of him, the 41H machine. That is going to be Blake Hendricks. And the McKenna Coffee Snap-On Road Runner Hoses. Ricky Lewis owned number 41H. The 86 Junior from the nice starting spot, Logan Mitchell out of Santa Cruz, California. Driver of the 86 Motorsports. Sideways Designs, American River Caulking, number 86 Junior. And next to him is going to be Jeremy Stout out of Ojai, California, driving the 805 Leasing European Wax Center. Ojai Valley Feed, number 10. Final starter in this one set to be Cammy Bell out of Bakersfield, California. Drove the Quick Change Salty's Barbecue. American Off-Road number 29C. As that'll be your scheduled lineup again for Heat Race number 2 here with the Ultimate Sprint Car Series, brought to you by King Racing Products. So everybody accounted for. We will clear push vehicles back into the pit area. Whitley in the 22, last year, 4th in the second B main in preliminary night competition. Just shy of moving on Saturday as well, 4th in the third B feature. Goes from the pole in this one, the 21B. A.J. Bender, 10th in last year's preliminary feature event. Ended up 5th in the finale. He was 8th in 2023 here in the sprint car portion of the Turkey Night. Jake Swanson, a couple of wins on the season. Mojave Valley with the USAC CRA Series back in February. Of course, picked up a $10,000 score at Route 66 Motor Speedway with the USAC Amsoil Sprint Car National Championship back in October. He's in that Tom Dunkelo number 17X here tonight. Dason Persley in the 86. Winner across several disciplines this season. Of course, swept 4 Crown at Eldora. Picked up his first career win with the Kubota High Limit Series as well. Nine wins in total this season for the Oklahoma racer. So as mentioned earlier, the 360-410 combination is an 1 7/8 restrictor in the 410s. As we're set to go to green, King Racing Products Heat Race number 2 for the Ultimate Sprint Car Series. Around to the pylon, and we're underway. A couple of drivers jumping up into the fluff here to try to make something happen in the opening lap. They're going to make their way off into turns 3 and 4. Who's going to lead the way around the bottom? Here comes the Portastore entry. He's going to show the way. It's going to be Whitley leading Swanson Persley that time at the line, shown as the driver sitting in transfer spots. Persley, though, fingertips holding on to that position right now as he jumps up to the top once again at 3 and 4, finds a little bit of a rut. That's going to cost him, and here comes the 21. A.J. Bender able to make his way by up into the 3rd spot here. Persley now on the outside looking in. Everybody getting a little bit of a weeble and a wobble there further back in the field. Persley going to go to work and see if he can get back up to the transfer spot, working the high side of the speedway. Bottom side of turns 1 and 2, definitely the place to be. 3 and 4, we've seen him make hay up there a couple of times. Just got to be careful that rut on entry. That's what cost him that pristineauction.com number 86. Trying to make the high side of turns 1 and 2 come to life as they challenge each other for the race lead. Here comes Swanson to the 17. He'll work the inside. Got it this time as they come around to click off at lap at number 5. Jake Swanson into the lead, and the Tom Dunkelo number 17 side by side for second. Whitley trying to hold on to it here as they make their way through turns 3 and 4. He'll get it way up the racetrack. That opens the door for a 2-for-1 deal for the drivers to make their way by. Speaking of 2-for-1, there he's got it. Dason Persley was on the outside. Now he's definitely made his way through the door, and he's trying to run away with a little bit more merchandise here as they'll come around to the way with the white flag challenge for that second spot. Got it this time as he works to the bottom side of turns 1 and 2. Persley holds on to second, but time has run out. Swanson going to roll down to the bottom side of turns 3 and 4, and he's going to find the checkered flag first here at King Racing Products Heat Race number 2. Dason Persley fights his way into the show with a second place finish, and A.J. Bender ends up with the final ticket into the program. Whitley, Fillingame, Sexton, Shelton, Mitchell, Stout, and Bell unofficially your top 10. But your winner, ladies and gentlemen, he comes to you out of Anaheim, California. Drive the Tom Dunkelo Racing Inland Rigging Maximum Oil Tom Dunkelo number 17X. Race fans, give him a hand, Jake Swanson. Swanson with the win, Dason Persley, A.J. Bender. Those 3 drivers onto the feature event. Whitley, Fillingame, your top 5 in King Racing Products Heat Race number 2. He's going to roll it down to the bottom side of the speedway. It's been of a rough go with the USAC NOS Energy Dream International Championship here on the West Coast, but things starting off just right as sprint car competition for Swanson. Let's go down trackside.
Well, he was 4th place last year, and now he is our King Racing Heat Race 2 winner on the night. Now, Jake, how critical was using that bottom line to get past?
Yeah, I just had to miss the holes down there in one. They're pretty big craters. I'm glad I'm not racing a midget tonight. Yeah, this thing's pretty good. We've had a rough go out here the last few weeks, or last month and some change. So it feels really good to be able to start to have some success. Can't thank Tommy and Christy Dunkel enough, Inland Rigging, for giving me the opportunity to drive this thing. We actually fixed it with a forklift tied to a trailer, so we could race Paris and then now Turkey Night tonight. So it's kind of cool. Never done that before, but it's cool that it's obviously fast enough to win, and hopefully we can just keep on massaging on it. I think we're in really good shape, so we'll just obviously need to avoid all the holes, and we should be in good shape.
Definitely a positive direction for Jake Swanson, taking that King Racing Products Heat 2 win for the night.
Sometimes when they're a little bent, they tend to be a little bit better. Proving that here tonight. Swanson picking up the win in Heat Race number 2. Heat Race number 3 staging out to the Speedway, and you will find the defending champion of the sprint car portion of Turkey Night on the pole. This one, he's out of Oxnard, California, of the Mesilla Valley Transportation, Stinson, Haley Motorsports, Morris Farms. Physical medicine consultant number 41 is going to be Ricky Lewis. Next to him in 9, that is going to be Connor Wakeham. He's out of Simi Valley, California, driver of the Race Concepts Motion Tire JFM. Wakeham owned number 9C. Blake Bauer in the Fink Combiner, Black Gold Racing, DRC number 3F. He'll roll from the 3rd starting spot from 4th. You'll find Carson Macedo of Lemoore, California. Last year, preliminary night victor in the Tarleton & Sons Durst Incorporated 410 Powered Maxim number 21. Danny Faria Jr. to Tipton, California, the 17V from the 5th starting spot. He's out of Tulare, driving the F&J Shot Trucking. Graham Ag LLC. More Transport number 17V. Next to him, you'll find Tyler Cato. He is out of Santa Rosa, California. Driver the Styles Motorsports, Greg Cato, Maxim Chassis number 11. Next row from the inside, it's going to be Bob Newberry's out of Oakley, California. The Avenger Chassis, Delta RC. TPU Trucking, Bear State Electrical Incorporated number 36. And outside of him in 72, that is going to be Trenton Shelton. He's out of Simi Valley, California. The Premier Coach Auto Collision. Triple X, Jeff Shelton, 360 Power number 72T. The 18J, Josh Gillis. The Bright Spot, DRC, Custom Exteriors, Windows and Doors, CSM Racing number 18J. And outside of him, she is out of New Kiwanis, California, driven the 3H Cattle Company. Santa Barbara Pistachio. King Racing Products, James Herrera, number 5E. That is Alexa Herrera. Final starter set to be Josh Young. He's out of Roseville, California, driving the Bill Smith Repair. MetTech USA Sierra Fuel, Maxim 410 Power number 75. As that'll be your lineup here in Heat Race number 3. It is brought to you by Rick's Gateworks. So Rick's Gateworks Heat Race number 3 out to the Speedway. Field begin to line up real quick. Let's go to Drake.
Brian, you talked about Carson Macedo's success in this race last year, but let's not forget, too, he's also the sprint car winner back in 2018 here at the Turkey Night Grand Prix, and there's a lot of years of the woulda, coulda, shouldas for Carson Macedo to actually win another Turkey Night behind the wheel of a non-wing sprint car. Even the few times he's driven non-wing cars on the big tracks, he's always a threat. So this guy, we know he's good with the wing, without the wing, and he'll be fun to watch in this heat race, starting from 4th.
Definitely so. Thank you very much. So last year's champion and your prelim winner set to go to the green. Here in heat race number 3, Lewis in the 41 brings him around to the pylon. Here we go. Three wide for second, side by side for the lead, and it will be the Fink Combiner number 3 taking off with it here as they work into turns 3 and 4. Here comes the 21 to the outside. Caution, though, going to end that run. One around and one collected over in turn number 3, the 17V for Rhea. And Gillis in the 18J. Looks like the two drivers coming to a rest. And And one driver off of the racing surface. I believe that was the 75 of Young, is what I'm hearing from officials up here in the tower. Quick look at the replay here on FloRacing. A little bit of contact, and around goes the 17. Slow the frame rate down, trying to sneak down to the inside. And unfortunately, just the lane already getting occupied there. And you look up, and indeed showing right there, the 75 went ahead and pulled it down into the pit area. So if anybody's happy to see the yellow come out, is Ricky Lewis. On the star, not able to hold on to the race lead. In fact, fighting to try to keep it in a transfer spot. Connor Wakeham taking off with it. He had the 21 of Macedo coming after him. The 3 with a great start to the inside. Blake Bauer sneaking by everybody. So lined up, ready to try it again. Thankfully, the view has cleared. Lewis looking for a better start this time. Off of turn number 4. Really going to go down to protect that bottom side, but it leaves the high side open, and Macedo says thank you very much. However, if you've ever driven through LA, you understand what just happened over turns 1 and 2. And Bauer, all kinds of contact. He became the pinball. Looked like a flat left front for sure on the number 3. He's going to go ahead and exit stage right. The 18 getting caught up over in turn 3. Now gets caught up over in the middle of turns 1 and 2. Real quick down to Drake.
You mentioned Blake Bauer pulling off the racetrack. It had pulled the left front tire off the wheel, so he quickly exited the speedway. And you talked about it. He got pinballed all the way around. I wouldn't be shocked if something maybe in the steering or on the right rear corner of that race car got damaged, because when he came off at turn number 2, he practically went straight in the wall. It was kind of impressive that he was able to get the car off the racetrack in the first place. But how the tables have turned for the driver who was leading on lap 1 earlier is now out of the race.
Getting a look at the replay here on FloRacing, and Lewis trying to protect that bottom, let the high side open. Everybody getting jumbled up from there. And unfortunately for Gillis, with nowhere to go, ends up getting piled into that. But we'll get a look at the 3F here on that inside line. Going in, getting up on the back of the number 9 once he landed. Will Stanzer sets her down, but damage already on the front end of that machine. So that car is down to the work area. Very little movement going on there in the Finkenbinder pit. So the crew coming over, they got an air tank, but that thing is off the bead. They're going to go ahead and lift her up and see if they can get it going here, but time has run out. The caution lights have gone dark. We got them lined up, ready to try it again. Off at turn number 4, once again, Lewis. Able to get up and lead him into 1 and 2. Oh my, off of the right rear goes the 9, but somehow keeps that thing upright. My, oh my, I thought we were about ready to have one leave the park there for a second as everybody getting jockeyed up and shuffled around. But they'll come around to click off out number 1. It's going to be Lewis. Cato Newberry right now sitting in transfer spots, but not for long. Here comes Macedo. He was 4th on the way by. He's going to quickly jump up into 2nd as Lewis going to lead the way. And that Morris Farms number 41, the Tarleton Sons number 21. You can cue the theme from Jaws because he is closing quickly. Blood in the water here at the front of the field. They make their way into turns 3 and 4. Got one down in the apron. Keeps it rolling. We stay green. As I say that, they're going to come together over turns 3 and 4, and they just about take out the NOS banner there at the exit turn number 4. Luckily, though, they avoid it, And we stay green. Challenge still coming for the race lead. Here comes the 21, setting sights on the back bumper of Ricky Lewis. Carson Macedo up to the top of the racetrack. He's going to switch it down to the bottom. Big run this time into turns 3 and 4. He'll take the line away from Lewis. Short slide up the racetrack. Exit turn number 4. You'll have a new leader. Macedo's going to show the way. Carson Macedo takes it away from Ricky Lewis. Back to second, a distant third to Bob Newberry. As laps winding down. White flag coming next time. Keep an eye on the 17V of Danny Faria. He's caught up in the early caution here in this one. Trying to fight his way forward, but like I said, the sand in the hourglass is just about run out. As the white flag is flown, your leader is onto the far side of the speedway. Checkered flag and a drop for last year's prelim night feature winner, Carson Macedo. Gets the job done here in the Rick's Gateworks Heat Race number 3. Ricky Lewis, Bob Newberry, those 3 drivers on into the feature event. Danny Faria at the line, nips 4th from Tyler Cato. He's going to round out your top 5. But your winner, ladies and gentlemen, he's out of Lemoore, California, driving the Tarleton & Sons Durst Incorporated. Tarleton Motorsports, Maxim 410 Power, number 21. Race fans, give him a hand at Carson Macedo. Ricky Lewis in second, Bob Newberry in third. They're on to the feature event. Danny Faria, Tyler Cato, your top 5 unofficially in your Rick's Gateworks Heat Race number 3. He'll bring you to a stop, and let's go down trackside.
Carson Macedo, the first guy to get the high side rolling here at Ventura Raceway. We saw Jake Swanson start on it, had to ditch that effort and go back to the bottom. But Carson, you were able to make the top work long before anybody else. Let's talk about turns 1 and 2. That's easily the most technical part of the racetrack. How do you make speed right there?
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like the car's really good. Drew Warner's doing a great job. Tommy Tarleton, Melissa Tarleton, they give us the tools we need to be successful. That was fun. I felt really good. Both first restarts, and then the third one there I got held up a little bit, but I feel like once I got to second, I was able to kind of, roll some nice laps together and get up in the seat and have some fun. So good to be driving the Tarleton 21 car, and fun to be running without the wing on.
Carson Macedo, your 2018 winner of the Turkey Night Grand Prix in Sprint Cars, is your winner here in Rick's Gateworks Heat Race number 3.
Thank you very much. Winners so far, third, and 4th is where they took the green from. As we roll into Sexton Fire Protection Heat Race at number 4. On the pole out of Oakley, California, driving the Toyota Walnut Creek. Home Smiles, Apex Construction number 28K. It's going to be Bryant Bell outside your opening row. Going to be Connor Spirit of Fillmore, California. The Channel Island floor coverings. Area Rug Factory, 360 powered Maxim number 57. Next row from the inside and 10. Mitchell Moles out of Raisin City, California. The Fortitude Driver Development. Gary Silva Ranches. MD Valley Financial number 10M. Next to him, out of Castro Valley, California, the May Motorsports. Cooper Propane, Wesco, Elite Signs. Jason Mayo, number 8M. It's going to be Jake Andriotti as we look to your next row from the inside line. It'll be Blaine Corey, the 360 Power Triple X Chassis. Ridgecrest Homes, Limitless Auto Sales, number 5K. Driver coming to us out of White City, Oregon. Going to go from the 5th starting spot from 6 will be Austin Wood out of Sacramento, California. Driver the Wise Racing Engine, Maxim Chassis, number 2. Kyle Edwards out of Fountain Valley, California. The McKee Racing 410 Power Triple X Van Dyne Engineering. Number 39 will roll from 7th. From 8th, that is going to be Mark Henry Jr. He's out of Lancaster, California. Driver the KP Prep and Fabrication 360 Power Triple X Chassis Cruiserman Sprint Car Driving Experience. Number 58. The 8J, Justin McConville. He's out of Dundee, Oregon. The CS9 chassis. Sonicom Directional Drilling, Short Track Heroes, Lawson Corporation, number 8J, and outside of him, the 73C will be Cole Wakeham. He's out of Simi Valley, California, driving the Churchill and Environmental Woodland Auto Display, Inland Rigging, number 73. Final starter is scheduled to be Austin Cato out of Santa Rosa, California, over the Styles Motorsports, Greg Cato, 410 J&J, number 11C. Don't forget the Black Friday sale going on right now at USACgear.com. If you don't find it down in the merch trailer, they just might have it In stock online, 25% off. Field just about ready to go. Caution lights will go dark here on the front straightaway. Of course, we'll have another Dirt Draft Hot Lap practice session here in a little bit for the USAC DOS Energy Drink Midget National Championship. In Bell, Spear, row number 1, Andriotti, Corey, Wood, then Edwards, Henry, then McConville, Wakeham, then Cato. Eight laps, top 3, on to the feature event. Past the pylon there at the exit to number 4. We get after it. Everybody going to jump down into turns 1 and 2 and cause a traffic jam. Caution light's going to come on. Everybody getting a little antsy there on the start, going down to turn number 1. And definitely showing his displeasure at the 8M of Andriotti. So get a look at the replay here on FloRacing. Again, onto the front straightaway and see Andriotti try to dive to that inside. Unfortunately, rights meet left. And that's going to take out your pole sitter, Brian Bell. Blaine Corey would know where to go. Get a look at it here as they slow things down. Yeah, just trying to charge that bottom. And there is no line there. That line is occupied. So time of the work area has begun. Drivers making their way down there to get some work. So Drake York is down trackside, getting a look at the cars. Let's go ahead and take it down to him.
A lot of damage on the left front of Bryant Bell's 28 machine. The left front shock is broken off the shock tower. As a matter of fact, it looks like the shock tower itself is broke off that race car. Dragling severely bent, and that left front tire is flat. Got a decent look at Blaine Corey's car. He looks to be good to go as they're getting a push truck in right behind him. I believe they're just waiting to tow the 28K out of the incident scene here in turn number 1. But Brian Bell, I think it's safe to say, very, very frustrated as the officials work on getting this car off the racetrack. Also, update on Austin Cato, too. He told me that he had fuel pouring out into the cockpit on him, so he just decided to take it to the infield. And obviously not what he wanted to do, but definitely the safer option. And Connor Spear also just firing off well now, too, Brian. Not sure what happened to him, but he was parked on the backstretch shortly after that accident. And just as I say that, that car not responding, so it looks like issues for Connor Spear as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, that car's still rolling silent here as he'll make his way down into the work area. So getting things cleared over in turns 1 and 2. I believe it is the 58 of Mark Henry. He's down in the work area. Indeed it is. So clock is ticking for the drivers down in the work area. So just making it turn number 1, they will line it up and try it again. Mitchell Moll's going to go up to the pole position. Andriotti going to line up next to him. Austin Wood in the 2, going to move down to the inside of row number 2. Next to him, I believe, is the 39 of Edwards. Down to 6 as we try it again. Exit turn number 4, we're back on our way. Up to the high side goes the 10 and up into the race lead. Going to hold on to it. Takes it off into turns 3 and 4. Can he hold it here as they come around to the front straightaway? He does. Working top side, trying to really get the top of 1 and 2 to come into play. Not going to happen though on the backside of the racetrack as here comes Andreotti charging down to the inside. It'll be the 8 up into the race lead here. Look out. We had one coming to a stop nearly. That was the 2 of Austin Wood. Had to wait on the car for a little bit. Had a little bit of tap to the back bumper. Luckily, everybody able to keep things rolling here. He's not giving up on the outside. That 42 number 10 still working here. A couple laps ago, a little bit of a misstep at the exit turn number 2, but that time a great charge and a great launch onto the back straightaway. We'll see if he can do the same thing at a 3 and 4. Ooh, not quite. That car gets tight, pushes towards the wall. And Jake Andreotti can hold on to the lead. 4 in, 4 to go to Andreotti's going to go in and take the bait. He's going to go to the outside, and Moles going to try to dive to his inside and retake the lead here. Mitchell Moles making Andreotti run his race for him. Makes him switch lines to the outside. Says thank you very much. He goes up into the race lead. Andreotti back to second. Austin Wood right now running in that 3rd spot. Wayne Corey running in 4th. McConville right now running out your top 5. Coming around with 2 to go. Moles in the 10, giving it the trend of winners coming from the 2nd row here in heat race competition. Comes around to the wave of the white flag. High side coming in nicely for him here. That jettisons him up into the race lead. And off of turn number 4, he's going to go ahead and stick her down to the bottom side of the racetrack. Checker flag in the air. Mitchell Moles grabs the win. Andreotti and Austin Wood. Those 3 drivers onto the feature event. Corey, McConville, Edwards unofficially running out your field. But your winner, ladies and gentlemen, he was fast high, he was fast low, and it works out for him in Racing City, California. The 42 Drive and Development, Gary Silva Ranches, MD Valley Financial, 360 Power number 10M. Race fans, give him a hand. Mitchell Moles. Jake Andreotti in 2nd, Austin Wood in 3rd. Again, those 3 onto the feature event. Corey, McConville, and Edwards unofficially rounding out your field. Let's go down trackside.
Well, he just won a couple weeks ago, and now he's your Sexton Fire Protection Heat 4 winner on the night. Now, that was a chaotic race to say, but Mitchell, how were you able to get around Andreotti?
Everybody just wants to crash everybody in the first corner. They just can't. They can't get the first lap in. So you got to finish the first one to win the last one. So I don't know. I searched around there for a little bit. Top's kind of given up on us a little bit off of 4, and Andreotti was there, so I just figured I could hunt him down. And he got him to change lanes for me and diamond down, and was able to make it happen. Can't thank Sean and Mike and Jared enough for letting me do this. I just called him a spur of the moment deal and said, hey, I want to run some non-wings. So first non-wing race for them as a team. So we're working out the kinks, but I think we're going to be all right.
Mitchell Moles taking that Heat 4 win for the night.
Thank you very much. Shurkan Koenig's heat race number 5. Final round of heat race competition making its way out to the Speedway. Drivers slated for the poles out of Oakley, California, the Line X. NWA, Skip Tuttle, O number 87P. It's going to be Jacob Tuttle. Outside of him, you'll find Kevin Thomas Jr. at Coleman, Alabama. The Shurkan, MP Environmental, Woodland Auto Display, Inland Rigging, number 17. 2nd row for the inside, he's out of Santa Barbara, California. Driver the Kittle Motorsports, Gasper Racing, Art Clee. Capital Label Company, number 18. It's going to be David Gasper. And next to him, driver in 29, Ryan Timmons, out of Pleasant Hill, California. The Evergood Fine Foods, Timmons Auto Truck and RV Repair, Redline Oil, number 29T. The 2 STX. Inside your next row at Roseville, California, Brent Steck, in the Joe Hunt Magnetos. Tyner Hurst at Bohung Motorsports, number 2. With TJ Smith set to line up in the 6th position. Smith in the 86E machine. The 86 Motorsports Sideways Design, American River Caulking, number 86E. Next row from the inside, you're going to find Brody Wake at Lake Havasu City, Arizona, driving the Ryan Drywall, the Master Remodel. Becker Pipeline, Triple X 360 Power, number 78. Next to him, the 3FF. That is going to be Kyle Shipley at Phoenix, Arizona, driving the DRC, Finkenbeiner Motorsports, Black Gold Motorsports, Ted Finkenbeiner own 3. The 6M going for the inside of row number 5. That will be Matt Meredith at 1000 Oaks, California, driving the Camtech Engineering, 360 Powered, Maxim Chassis, Rick's Gateworks, Yumi Hendrickson, number 6M. With the 71 going from 10th, that is going to be Brent Owens out of Rancho Cucamonga, California. Driver the Owens Insurance Agency, PCI CJC Designs, Western Oil number 71. Final starter is scheduled to be John DeWeese out of Lemoore, California. Driver the King Racing Products, Willett Rance 360 Power, Triple X Chassis number 63. As that'll be your scheduled lineup again for your Shurkan Coatings Heat Race number 5. Cars firing, Doug. Several other sponsors with the series, of course, that you owe a lot of thanks for throughout the 2025 season.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's start off with Portastore. Can't thank them enough for being the event sponsor here tonight. I want to thank Dirt Beers for providing the hats that the podium finishers are going to wear here tonight. P1 Race Images and Fast Motor Photography.
Dirt Beers, is that a beer that gets left open too long in the races?
That's a very good question, Brian.
Field set to get after it here. Final heat race. Again, brought to you by Shurkan Coatings. Tuttle and KTJ. On row number 1 to the pylon. Exiting turn number 4. Here we go. And the quick change. Number 17 going to jump out to the race lead. But hey, we've seen this before. Caution 1 and 2 here on the start. The Camtech number 6. The Meredith and the 78 of Wake. Talked about the Black Friday sale at USACgear.com. Here's another website you need to hit up. We talked about some of the specials that have been going on with Kevin Thomas Jr. as he took to the high line, was trying to take off with the race lead. Getting a look at the replay here on FloRacing of why we are under caution. And going in again, just getting that right front to left rear action, getting everybody jumbled up and around. We start going. But Kevin Thomas Jr. Midget Apparel, it is on sale online, shopktj.com. $14 for t-shirts, $34 for hoodies. Sprint car and lifestyle apparel, all 20% off until midnight local time, so midnight Pacific. Shopktj.com. He's on track, so now's a great time to talk about his website. Again, Midget Apparel on sale, $14 for the t-shirts, $34 for hoodies. Sprint car and lifestyle apparel, 20% off. And that is until midnight Pacific. So make sure and check that out. So lined up, set to try it again. Everybody able to refire here. Everybody going to fare well onto the backside of the speedway. We'll see if we can get one lap in here. KTJ swapping lines around. Top of 1 and 2, bottom of 3 and 4. Not able to get by the line X number 87. Tuttle going to lead. KTJ and David Gasper right there in the hunt. Gasper running that third spot. The 86, he was still on the front straightaway, gets it rolling, but so we stay green. Challenge for the race lead. Kevin Thomas looking top side. 17 still can't get there. Jacob Tuttle has been able to get the bite he needs to fend off the charge of Kevin Thomas. Your top two starting to pull away. In the meantime, a Steck and the 2 STX has snuck by for that third spot. Gasper in the 18 going to run in fourth. Then it's going to be the 29T of Ryan Timmons right now running at your top 5. Don't take your eye off the battle for the race lead. Kevin Thomas, about the time he loses a couple of car lengths, he makes him right back up. Jacob Tuttle trying to get the elbows out and get that car as wide as possible. 2 battles on the racetrack. You got the battle for the lead. You got the battle for the transfer spot. Going to focus in on that race for third right now as they make their way through turns 3 and 4. Down around the bottom rolls the 2. He's going to have the 29 coming after him. Both those drivers worked by David Gasper. Problems for one driver. The Walker filtration entry down into the infield. He's clear from the racetrack. We stay green. Up across the racetrack a little bit goes your leader. Time running out. 2 to go. Kevin Thomas hard on the hammer onto the back straightaway, trying to get the run he needs. They make their way to turns 3 and 4. White flag coming. Battle for the lead ongoing. Tuttle all the way up against the wall that time to the exit turn number 4 and onto the front straightaway. Does he make her wide onto the back straightaway? He's going to go wide. Kevin Thomas down to the inside, right rear left front. And KTJ keeps it rolling. So does Tuttle. They're going to try to hold on for first and second. Kevin Thomas, no. Caution lights. We got one spun, and we've got a melee. Slow traffic, no traffic lights. Ooh, Tuttle not happy with Kevin Thomas. Letting him know about it now. So Tuttle out of the car, and he's down with Drake.
Jacob Tuttle, I think it's safe to say you're very frustrated with Kevin Thomas Jr. What happened from your vantage point going into turn 3?
Yeah, you know, we're running for a transfer spot, not even for a transfer spot. The win doesn't matter here. All you got to do is top 3. He's running second. I gave a little bit over there, and he just drove over my nose and ended my night. So good on him, but here we go.
Tough break for Jacob Tuttle. Of course, this year's USCS champion, and his turkey night just got a whole lot tougher. Goes from leading the heat race, coming to the checkered flag, and it not even going to make it to the checkered flag as there's a lot of front-end damage on this race car. Ryan Timmons drove into him. He's got front-end damage. Brent Steck's to the infield, and John DeWeese has spun the wrong way in turn number 1. So that inadvertently not only probably ruined Jacob Tuttle's turkey night, but also a few other drivers as well.
So cars remain rolling. Checkered flag was coming out. It did not get there. Again, the leaders did not get to the checkered flag. Caution came out before that point. The caution for DeWeese. It was spun around facing traffic over turn number 1. So the lights coming on before the leaders came around to the start-finish line. DeWeese having to roll the backup car out for this weekend. Doug let me know they rolled the primary out and saw that the rear rack on the car was actually damaged. So mothballing that machine, they'll get it fixed. They bring the backup car out. So again, the caution had already been called for. For DeWeese, he was stopped over in turn number 1. And officials coming out a chunk of debris down to the front straightaway that will go ahead and get the torsion arm cleared from the front straightaway. David Gasper started third, got shuffled back to 5th. He's going to restart in 2nd. And Kyle Shipley in the 3FF from 8th. Going to restart in 3rd. Kevin Thomas Jr., though, coming around to the one-lap dash. Gasper going to go to the top side of the speedway and work onto the back straightaway. Kevin Thomas around the bottom. Transfer spot all by himself through turns 3 and 4. Now the checker flag is going to drop in this one. KTJ going to get the job done. Gasper across in second, and Brent Owens in the 71 from 10th. Going to punch his ticket into the show. He'll make his way around to the front straightaways out of Coleman, Alabama. Driver of the Shurcan, MP Environmental Inland Rigging. Neutral right number 17. Race fans, give him a hand. Kevin Thomas Jr., winner. In Shurcan Coating Seat Race number 5, David Gasper, Trent Owens, those 3 drivers unofficially on into the feature event. Shipley and Wake. That was your top 5. He'll work on getting the safety equipment off. Let's go down to Drake.
Kevin Thomas Jr. snags the win there in Shurcan Coatings Heat Race number 5, but it doesn't come without a little bit of drama. Coming to the checker the first time, KT, you and Jacob Tuttle getting together. What happened from your vantage point in turn number 3?
I ran over his front end like a dumbass, and that's pretty much about it. I mean, you kind of ask these oddball questions, like, it's clear what I did. I didn't mean to crash him, but I had to win the heat race, and I fucked up. So hats off to those guys. You know, they ran a great race. You know, I was doing everything I could to get by him, and I saw one little opening, and obviously it wasn't big enough. And, you know, I feel bad for those guys. They had a good heat race. They were going to win that heat race. But I just woke up stupid today, I guess.
A very honest Kevin Thomas Jr. owns up to his mistake there in turn number 3, but nonetheless, he's in the redraw, and he's your winner of heat race number 5.
Thank you very much. With that, Dirt Draft Hot Laps return to the program here for the USAC NOS Energy Drink Midget National Championship. So Dirt Draft Hot Lap session number 2. Bring them out about 8 at a time here. Ty Gibbs on the speedway right now. The Monster Energy, Toyota Racing Development, PristineAuction.com, number 86. Of course, just saw this driver pick up a win in USCS Heat Race competition at Lemoore, California. Behind the wheel of the Dyson Motorsports, complete parts and equipment, King Chassis number 99 AU. Carson Macedo back onto the racetrack. Drake Edwards out of Peoria, Arizona. The Avante Windows and Doors number 83. Dason Pursley out of Locust Grove, Oklahoma. The Avante Windows and Doors, PristineAuction.com. Toyota Mobile 1 CB Industries number 84. He'll come to speed here, as does the 19 of Hayden Reinbold, the AME Electrical, Pacific Valley Transportation, Indy Race Parts, Reinbold, Unlimited Motorsports number 19. AZ, the 71K. Cannon McIntosh, the KKM, Kerbicajanian, Mobile 1 number 71. Ooh, problems here during Dirt Draft. Hot Laps got one on its lid and on its side. And it looks like it's Dason Pursley. hook and flip over in turn number 2. For the 3-time Turkey Night feature event starter, was 3rd last year. So despite the tip, able to get the car back upright, and they're going to go ahead and give him the push back to the pits. As they'll get him pointed back around to the right direction. Let's go down to Drake.
The good news, Brian, is it seems to be everything is A-OK with that 84 NOS Energy Drink machine driven by Dason Persley as Dason pulled the helmet off, and the crash crew took a look at that race car a lot of times, and they could not find a single fault with that race car as he'll be pushed off the speedway along with this group of dirt track practice.
Thank you very much. We'll begin to bring cars back out onto the racing surface. Again, we will cycle through about 8 at a time onto the racetrack here. This will give time for USCS officials to go through and get lineups squared away for the last chance qualifiers. Haas in the 20 on the speedway over in turn number 2. Getting a look at him here on the FloRacing broadcast. Facento in the 14, the driver directly in front of him. Kayla Bryson back on the speedway. The Indy Power Sports Abacus Racing number 11. She rolls just past the flag stand. 97 of Gavin Miller out to the speedway. The Sound Gear, KKM Kerbikajanian. Number 97, Kyle Larson, the HendrickCars.com FloRacing number 1K. Again, carrying the onboard camera here this evening. So definitely a better view than we had earlier when the sea mist rolled in from the tower. Starting to get very dense, very hard to see, but we saw from the onboard actually was not that bad, but now a very clear view of everything going on here. So second group of drivers here in this second group of Dirt Draft Hot Laps going to get wound up. First round of Dirt Draft Hot Laps, it was Jacob Denny who was quickest. And incidentally, Richie Murray pointing out earlier, for the 4th year in a row in the opening group of Hot Laps. For the lap time of 12:180. Jason Persley thus far has been the quickest driver with a 12.640 going back on board with Young Money here as he works around the bottom side of turn number 4 and onto the front straightway. Going to go ahead and take the top side of turns 1 and 2, muscling that car onto the back side of the racetrack. Larson currently 5th quick of the drivers who have been out onto the racing surface. See if he can make up a little bit more time here. Checker flag for the drivers on track. Dason Persley remains quickest so far. Fastest driver on track was Gavin Miller. In the number 97, he works on the back straightaway. .033 seconds off of the pace of Pursley, a 12.64 to a 12.673. Drake Edwards, Carter Sarf, the Shark, was on track. In the number 25, fourth quick, with Cannon McIntosh currently fifth quick. Larson, Macedo, Gibbs, Yantis, and Facento make up the top 10. Pickens in the Smart Machine tool. Dave.com, number 31, firing off into turn number 1. Kyle Jones, the Joiner Motorsports, number 27, just past the speed shot here. 63 of Cale Coons. Dueling Autosport, Kerbagajanian, number 63. The 98K, the KKM Kerbagajanian entry, Brandon Carr. The 67, Jacob Denny at Galloway, Ohio. The JBL KKM Kerbagajanian entry. Logan Seavey also on track, the 57. The McVeigh Trucking, Highland, Indy Power Sports, Forecheck Marketing, Indy Custom Stone, High Performance Lubricants, number 57. Last victory was the first one of the season with the USAC NOS Energy Drink Midget National Championship, Merced, during the Chase Johnson Classic. So cars will roll a little bit of heat here. Let's check in with Drake.
In that first round of dirt draft practice, we saw we had TJ Smith pull to the infield towards the end of his group. Just talked to the crew just a moment ago. They actually broke a rocker in that session, but not too bad of a fix, the team telling me. So TJ Smith is actually in the queue to get out there. Granted, he is at the very back, so we'll see him here in just a short amount of time, probably in about 2 to 3 sessions time here as we move through dirt draft practice here at the 84th running of the Turkey Night Grand Prix.
And we'll get another one upside down. The old spin and hook. Kicker sideways, find the rut, and a little whoopsie-daisy over there for the 98. Brandon Carr, the Sheffield, England driver, and the So car getting refired to the back straightaway. That had been the mount for Tanner Carrick. Not slated to be in action here this weekend, unfortunately. No, scratch that. Brandon Carr in the 98K, my apologies. Getting the cars kind of swapped up there. He is on track. Caden Sorali onto the racetrack in the 32, the 2P of Connor Lundy, the 5P of Justin Peck. Corey Day, the 4C's Construction Sander Engineer number 4, firing here into turns number 1 and 2. Drake Carty out to the speedway in the 17. Driver following, Kofoy in the 71. Dane Culver, the wireless 101, number 73. Cars begin to wind up here for this next round in our Dirt Drive Hot Lap session number 2. Let's check in with Drake real quick.
Standing in the chute right now with Jacob Boxell, ready to take his first laps here at the Ventura Raceway. And Jacob, I know you're a good young dude at handling all the pressure, but Turkey Night just seems to add upon it. How big of a relief is it to kind of get some practice laps before the big day tomorrow?
Yeah, it feels pretty good. Just getting to learn these tracks. Our main goal here for our team is to get Rookie of the Race, and there's quite a bit of them, so definitely getting some on-track time before the before all the pressure builds up will feel good, so we can figure out what we like as a team.
Jacob Boxell, of course, one of the nearly 30 drivers in the Don Basile Rookie of the Race award for this year. Of course, he's in that second Four Kings Racing car.
Thank you very much. Cars continuing at speed here. The second round of Dirt Draft Hot Laps. Again, cycling about 8 at a time out on the speedway. If you're just joining us here on the FloRacing broadcast. Buddy Kofoid, quickest driver on track for that session. 4th quick overall, Dason Pursley. Still at the top of the charts. A little test and tune going on some of the KKM Kirby Ajanian cars. Cale Drake hot lap in the number 98. On track here just a moment ago, so explains why we were not seeing times come up on race monitor. Gunnar Setzer back onto the speedway, driving the Midwest 2 Mills number 43. Driver we did not see earlier in Dirt Draft Hot Laps. The Wally Pankratz own number 8, Randy Pankratz, 4-time feature starter. Hayden Reibel back out to the speedway. 32 of Bruno also out onto the racetrack. That's Anthony. Austin Wood of the 15 has also made his way out to the racing surface. Jacob Boxell in the 14 JB. Of course, Drake just getting a word with him. The 77. Dalton Gabbard out of Peoria, Arizona. 55, Cole Wakeham out of Simi Valley. cars will come up to speed as we'll check in with Drake York here.
Cale Drake went upside down there, and Brian, you talked about kind of the different car he was in, and there's a very good story behind that. So kind of take us through the issue so far. I understand that there's an issue with the primary car right now.
Yeah, at Bakersfield, we ran into some troubles. I'm not really sure. About midway through the feature, it just stopped making full power, and we thought we went through everything and might have found something, but turns out we didn't. It's still not running right, so we went ahead and pulled down the backup and felt really good there for a couple laps, and then went to the top in 3 and 4 and hustled it into 1 and 2, and then just caught the rut. It's pretty gnarly down there, but I don't know, the car feels really good right now, and just got to trust my guys, and now that we got the power back underneath us, we should be better.
That's a tough break for Cale Drake, but the good news, Brian, it sounds like they're headed in the right direction in the KKM camp.
Right direction down to the KKM Kerbicka camp. Wrong direction on track for the 77 at Gabbard. Last year got upside down in practice, and unfortunately it was a hole-in-one to the exit ramp. The car going between the concrete, this time flipping over in the middle of turns 1 and 2. A much softer flip than what we saw 1 year ago. So Gabbard popping up out of the top of his number 77, thankfully okay. So the field beginning to refire. Let's go back down to Drake.
Catching up with Dason Persley, who unfortunately was another victim of the turn 1 rumbly stumbly. We've seen Cale Drake get upside down. You were kind of the first to get into it. We've seen a few sprint car accidents down there. First off, tell us what happened. And second, what is making that area of the track so tricky here in practice?
Yeah, I mean, I think Ventura is known for kind of like the waviness stuff that it kind of gets. And yeah, it's just a little bit more waves than we anticipated. And yeah, I was just trying to get every inch of it and try to figure out how hard I can run the bottom. And then unfortunately just caught that last little bit of the hole and then just barely tipped it over. So yeah, this is what we're here to practice tonight and try to run as hard as we can and get the best out of our car, and just pushed it there a little too hard.
I think Dason's found the limit. That's the good news. He'll be ready to go for the Turkey Night Grand Prix come tomorrow here at Ventura.
And, of course, it's a tale of 2 racetracks and how things set up. Looking forward to tomorrow, see how things shape up and shake out. As we'll have sprint cars returning to the track here in just a little bit. The first of 2 last chance qualifiers, and they are very big lineups. 21 slated to go in LCQ number 1, 20 slated for the second LCQ. Only 12 laps to get it done. Do the top 4 of each one of the last chance qualifiers moving on into the main event. Jake Andriotti's 00 back onto the racetrack. TJ Smith, 6A Motorsports number 68, also going to return to the racing surface. Of course, the sad news, the 2025 season is coming to an end. The good news there is still lots of racing yet to go. Indoor season just about ready to get underway. Of course, the Hyper Racing Tulsa Shootout powered by NOS Energy. The SageNet Center at Expo Square in Tulsa, Oklahoma, December 30th through January 3rd. And follow that up with the Chillable Nationals powered by NOS Energy, January 12th to the 17th. You can find both of those events flag to flag on FloRacing. Of course, you also have late models at the Dome. They're working on getting the track put together down there. FloRacing is the official live online broadcast provider of that event. It's like final few cars out to the speedway here in Dirt Draft Hot Laps. We'll have the Hagopian Vintage car come out, make a couple of more laps. They'll do a little bit of work to the racing surface. So the good news, after getting upside down, he's back on track. Gabbard's number 77. Rolling into turns 3 and 4. So that should wrap up second flight of Dirt Draft Hot Laps. Talking about all the indoor shows coming up, of course, looking forward to 2026 as we kick off the USAC National Circle Track season down in Florida with Winter Dirt Games, brought to you by Yokohama. A $12,000 check to the champion of that race series down there in Florida, a $24,000 point fund, and it all takes place at Volusia and Ocala, February 9th through the 14th. Down in Ocala, they'll have a practice to kind of kick things off on the 8th from 2 to 4 in the afternoon. But definitely mark it on your calendars and get ready for a little bit of dirt in Florida. Winter Dirt Games, brought to you by Yokohama. Again, all taking place at Volusia and Ocala. And, of course, if you can't be there live, you can see it all on FloRacing. Got the vintage car on track again. This the Hagopian family machine and former winner of Turkey Night. Doug, you've been making the rounds down in the pit area, and I believe you have a couple of updates.
Yeah, I was just down there at the Tuttle pit talking to Jacob Tuttle, and it looks like their crew is thrashed, and they're going to make it back out for the qualifiers. That's great news. I asked him, I said, is there any frame damage? He says, don't care, don't know, put a new front axle in it, we're good to go. Was down there checking out Brian Drollinger. Unfortunately, the damages are way more severe. The Didion car is destroyed, so Brian gonna focus now on the USAC midget portion of the weekend.
Thank you very much. Jake is airing out that VW here, having some fun behind the wheel of that vintage machine. So the grade are going to make its way out to the racing surface. We'll have a little bit of time here. So with that, here on the FloRacing broadcast, we're going to step away. We'll be back to night number 1, Turkey Night.
January 12th to the 17th, all eyes will be on Tulsa for the 40th running of the Chili Bowl Nationals powered by NOS Energy Drink. Over 300 of the world's greatest race car drivers